Sit back, relax, and keep your eyes to the skies.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to S-4, where we talk about the serious issues involving paranormal and current events. Coming to you live here from the S-4 headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains in the studio in Cape Horn, Concrete, Washington. So tonight, it's March 14th. I can't believe it's already almost the middle of March.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Happy Pie Day.
Huh?
Happy Pie Day.
It's Pie Day. Yes, 3/14. So for those that are a little bit slower like me, it is 3.14, which is pi. So it is Pie Day. I didn't realize that until we were in Mount Vernon getting pie. But anyway, so tonight
it's also Albert Einstein's birthday.
Is it? Happy
Albert
birthday.
Yes, it is.
Was born on pie?
We'll have to, well, he probably made
Don't
pie.
say
Day.
that to Kayla. She'll think he stole that from his wife, too.
Oh, my God.
Right? All right, we got to give a shout out real quick. We have listeners in Romania. Thank you for listening, folks. We always love our new listeners.
Hello, Romania.
And anytime I see a new country pop up, I'm excited.
That's the CIA, I told you. They're just using
No,
the
it's not the CIA. It's Romania. They got vampires sitting there. Anyway, tonight we're talking Antarctica. What's up with all these conspiracies and theories, including elevators going down to the middle of the earth with grass and okay. I'm really not a big, and you're going to be disappointed, Barry, but I'm really not a big conspiracy theorist when it comes to Antarctica. But it's a simple ice-covered continent.
I am.
Is there a validity to these conspiracies? You decide real quick. Next week we have Roundtable. The 28th we have the Hub investigation. Actually, so the Hub investigation is actually the 27th. We're going to talk about it on the 28th on the show.
We're going to the bar.
We're going to the bar. So our schedule, for those that like to write down our schedule is April 4th. Are you prepared for an alien invasion? How do you prepare and what would you do? April 11th is going to be what's a paranormal emergency and how do you protect yourself? Of course, the 18th is always Roundtable. The 25th is Dangers of the Paranormal. May 2nd, what is May Day all about? Some of us call it Beltane. May 9th, Mothers in the Paranormal. May 16th, Naturally Roundtable. May 23rd, Alien Races, Who is Who. No show. Write this down. May 30th, no show. We have business that we will not be around for S4. So, no show for the May 30th. June 6th, we have the Magic of the North Cascades. The 13th, it's Fairy Month. What does that mean? June 20th, Roundtable. June 27th, what constitutes paranormal missing people? July 4th, no show. It's boom time.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
Boom, boom.
July 11th is Diet Loud Pass. July 18th is the Roundtable. And I have up to the 25th, what causes a haunting? Spirits, fae, shadows, the whole plethora of stuff that causes hauntings. So we'll talk about them all. And we might have a special guest for a couple of these shows. So, Antarctica. What do we know about Antarctica? Antarctica was discovered in...
Penguins.
Penguin.
Penguin.
Penguins stink.
No,
Really bad.
No, to be fair,
They are the
When
all
they smell
natural
us.
born killers. Penguins.
holy crap, guys.
Penguin.
At least they're well dressed.
Right? They got suits on.
They're little Cedos.
So I'm going to be honest here. I watched about 10 different Admiral Byrd documentaries. Some of them actually were black and white and included video production of his actual expedition he did. All 3 of them, all 4 of them. And not a damn thing. To include, he actually flew over the South Pole. And it was, videoed of him in his plane going over the South Pole. No opening. No elevator.
That's what they want you to think.
You to believe.
No grass. Huh?
Well, the opening isn't right at the South Pole. Come on, man.
I know,
Okay.
that would just
There's
make it
an
too easy.
ATM.
I would make it too easy.
They have one ATM now at the South Pole.
What are you going to buy? Why do you need cash on you?
A penguin.
Penguin meat.
Okay.
No, there actually is a store. They have one store, a general store.
Who owns it?
I don't know.
Antarctica.
I mean, it's
never actually
Antarctica.
looked that
Nobody
far into
owns
that.
Antarctica.
No country has the right to own Antarctica.
Right. So who owns the store?
Nobody has the right to. The people who live there underground.
Okay, seriously, I'm wondering, if you ordered something from Amazon, do you think you'd still get 2-day shipping?
There you go. There you probably get 1-day shipping. They'll use the time machine.
I need ice cubes.
Actually,
In
you
Antarctica.
know what? You probably would.
Really? You think so? They just drop it over
They
top
get
of you.
shipments every day. There is one plane that leaves to Antarctica every day. So yeah, you probably would.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Huh.
Be on that plane.
Because it's like, I think there's 150 people there at any given time.
Right.
There are 22 permanent residents.
From which
Well, that's
country?
just at McMurdo,
All
right?
of them.
From all
Okay.
different countries, right?
Okay.
There's a
There
whole
are-
bunch of different stations around there.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Australia's there, and
Yeah,
I think
like Durdo,
Chinese and
Davis.
the Russians are there.
And then there's one station
Germans
that
used
is
to be there.
considered,
Or
it's
are they
considered a
still?
United Nations station type thing, where that's where the store is, that's where the ATM is, and they can actually all shop, and they have items for everywhere.
That's kind of cool. Hey,
Yeah.
so what do they call a citizen of Antarctica? I mean, obviously you
An
can't.
Antarctican.
But are you Arcticans?
Penguin.
Artican.
A penguin.
Penguin.
Artican
A
Skywalker.
penguin. A
Arctic
penguin.
Penguinite.
Skywalkers? Penguinites? I like it.
So, Tim, yes, we will be talking about the Nazi bases.
And every day, one person gets to lay on the grass in Antarctica.
And go,
Right,
up,
Izzy?
and go up and down the elevator. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah.
Admiral Byrd, from 1890 to 1922, you have the expeditions he was on, sailing ships, man-hauling dogs. And you really have to give him props for the lack of technology we had back then, and the work he did to get to Antarctica.
Oh, absolutely.
And the ships.
Weren't those early years? Wasn't he in the Arctic? He hadn't been to Antarctica yet.
No, he went to the North Pole first.
Yeah.
That was his
Arctic.
first trip. He went to the North Pole
Yeah.
first. He flew over it, and then he accidentally hit the big ice wall that keeps the flat Earth.
Well,
Oh my God! Stop.
I get why he switched.
he wanted to hit.
There's a lot of midgets in the North Pole, and you really don't want to hang out with those people, I guess.
No.
What? Oh, my bad.
Wow.
I was super confused. You were talking
Probably.
about elves. Okay.
So no, he went to the North Pole first. He then went back and he spent time with his family for a little bit, and he got bored apparently.
I get that.
And
That's rude.
they kind of, yeah. He played with his kids. He had fun. They show him playing with his kids. He had fun. Yada yada. And then he just got that itch to go to the South Pole, so he did. And I'm trying to remember who it was. One of his relatives was actually in Congress at that time. Do you remember, Barry?
One of
One of
He
Admiral
ain't that
Byrd's-
old.
Huh?
I'm not that old.
No. One of Admiral Byrd's relatives, I believe it was a brother that was actually in the Senate,
Oh yeah. Sure.
which
had
is
a,
one of the reasons he got so much
He was able to get some.
He was able to get the money and the funding to go do what he wanted to.
Well,
Is he still a
only
senator?
one mission was paid by the military. I thought though.
Yeah, because he was actually only in the Navy for, I believe, a few days, and he broke his ankle. He got hurt. He was forced out. They retired him after 9 days, and so he was pretty much made a captain for a while.
Huh.
And let's see, he raised $300,000 in a number of days to fund his Antarctic expedition. I mean, the man was phenomenal. Did he actually see Nazis? I don't. I honestly have a hard time with that one.
I'm silent.
Oh, don't be silent.
I just can't believe you, Eric.
Well, okay. So there is no doubt that the Nazis went to Antarctica. That's documented. But
Right.
it was to get whale blubber. It wasn't to build a Nazi base.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I buy that whale blubber story.
I'm just gonna say,
Yeah,
I
you can
have
get whale
met
blubber
most people
anywhere.
from the United States, and if you look at the globe, Germany is about the same, longitude, latitude, height of the globe. I have seen you guys try to handle weather here. Frick, we just watched Texas go through it. Not a chance. They can't go to Antarctica and actually have a base there because they can't handle it.
No.
Yeah, but the funny thing about it is that the Nazis went from Argentina to Antarctica.
Like, we'd end up with Nazicals.
That's right. Hey, when you started the show, you started to say when Antarctica was founded.
It was
Founded?
It was
Yes.
founded. It was covered in 1821.
What about the Perry Reese map?
That's what I was just going about to. There
What's
you
this?
go.
Okay.
Because there were maps that go
The
back
Perry
to the
Reese map?
1500s.
Yeah.
1500s map that they drew that had Antarctica perfectly
Yeah.
drawn on it.
Very good guess.
Oh no!
Yeah, what it looks like
So-
without all the ice.
Yeah.
Really nice guess.
They actually
Yes.
drew the Perry Reese map with Antarctica on it as a continent. So there's
Yes.
a lot of theories that aliens did help them with that.
I honestly think
That is a curiosity.
for me, I think that's more of an astral projection for his view.
That could be too.
The problem I have, one of the biggest problems I have with the whole base idea, and not just the Nazi one, but the idea that there's an alien base there. There's a lot of people that believe that, and they say that the entrance has a crashed UFO at the entrance.
That's
Okay,
on my
if you're
list.
making a hidden underground base, are you going to put a vehicle in front of it?
No.
Especially one with a body in
Little
it, probably.
Dodge pickup.
Right?
That's
And here's
that's
what's
the trap door entrance.
but here's
Everybody
what
can come and look.
here's the problem with those theories and where they come from. These are people that ain't never been in Antarctica. They looked at Antarctica on Google Earth. Oh my God! Look at that. That looks like an alien body. Yeah, that's called pareidolia.
Yeah, there's some of the places that you can't even see on Google Earth.
Right.
It's not even mapped. Antarctica is one of those special places that YouTube doesn't go. There's been reports of caves openings and all kinds of stuff for a long, long time. In fact, there was an article out this morning that I saw. Let me see if I can find out while you guys continue talking. But that map thing, and it goes back even farther to where they believe that out of all the possibilities, that could be where Atlantis was originally.
Possible.
Atlantis in Antarctica.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Judging by all of the clothes that we've seen them wear in pictures, that would be fucking cold.
It wasn't that cold.
It wasn't cold then. It wasn't cold then. And as we all know,
supposed to be temperate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, things moved. The plates have shifted, and they have all moved, and it's slid farther south, possibly.
Well, they've found dinosaur fossils and plant fossils there, and they figured at one time, this is a long time ago, but it was very tropical paradise almost.
Yeah, and they've actually found DNA of things that they can't even determine what it is.
Yeah.
Or where it came from.
I got to bring something up quick. It's a little bit off topic, but it really actually has bothered me for the last couple days.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, because you mentioned dinosaurs. Okay, so think Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, Thomas Edison, not Albert Einstein, George Washington. You guys, would you admit that those guys were fairly smart for their day and age?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it kind of boggle your mind that none of them knew what a dinosaur was or that it ever existed?
Well, at that point, we hadn't started digging them up and figuring out what they were at that.
Right?
Know?
But it's kind of like, just to think of that, they never knew what a dinosaur was. They, as kids, they didn't go around, I want to be a T-Rex.
Right, exactly.
It just never, not even a thought. That weirds me out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because then you think about,
T-Rex?
but you think about even the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
They never thought about what an alien was. They never thought about alien invasions like
Oh,
that.
sure they did.
Well,
Oh, no,
All those founding fathers, they believed that there was life
UFO
beyond this
reports about
planet.
But it never joined.
Everyone
They talked about it.
Yeah, they talked
never
very
joined popular
extensively
culture.
about it.
No, and that's a good question. What do you think, Barry?
Yeah.
So we know Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington all had their own UFO encounters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if they had UFO encounters, why don't you think it made popular culture like it does today?
There wasn't the same kind of popular culture that there is today.
Right,
No.
exactly.
No.
We're looking at 13 states and
You
the
would
amount
have
of
to-
people that were there.
Right.
And what they
But they were big on community
describe.
meetings. They were big on community meetings. They had them
Yeah,
in
but
the
back
churches.
then you start talking about weird stuff, they burn you.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough. Fair enough on that one.
Well, okay, Washington, there's a famous thing where at Valley Forge, when he goes out in the woods and he's praying that they're not going to get killed by the winter or the British.
Yes.
And they tell the story of him meeting two glowing beings.
Right.
Exactly.
That's famous.
Right?
Everybody knows about it.
But nobody burned
They'll
him.
said, "Oh, it's angels." Well, maybe it was aliens.
It probably was. Honestly,
You can get like an alien. Yeah, it could be.
I could see aliens doing that. So Antarctica in 1984, the Allen Hills meteorite. Have you guys heard of that one?
Yes.
They found
Yes.
the Allen Hills meteorite in Antarctica, which was shown to be a fragment of Mars.
Mm-hmm. Well,
It has bacteria in it.
It had fossil remains of bacteria found in this meteorite.
ooh. Mars aliens. Martians. Do you think it's Martians then? Do you think Martians have the underground bases? No, I mean, okay.
I don't know.
To be honest, when this meteor hit,
It's hard to
if it
jump
had-
from a meteorite with bacteria into it to bases.
An underground base.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm
Well,
still
man,
open to the
you know,
possibility
honestly-
that we started on Mars.
But
Yeah, that's true.
that's the thing. If they found bacteria on a meteorite from Mars, and we're on Mars now with a rover, where are they going to find?
Like they're going to
Nothing
tell us.
that they'll tell us.
Oh, right.
Okay. I mean, there could be a whole colony of like Jabberwockies there, and they'd be like, "Oh, this never happened."
Okay.
I mean-
I'm jumping all over the place.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
but I'm
Fine.
going back to what Barry, you said about the poles, Antarctica not being covered in ice.
Uh huh.
So what we, have found as a collective society, so like scientific community, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old.
Right.
Ish.
Yep.
From the ice we have that scientists have been unearthing, so drilling into. The last polar shift, when it went into the deep freeze, was 34 million years ago.
Yeah.
The oldest civilization we have found
Okay. All right. Go. Sorry.
is 11 to 12,000 years ago.
I would have to disagree with popular science on that fact, because honestly, we have found things that we cannot date that were obviously already worn and already had elements and everything happening to them before the cultures that we know of took over that area.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
so
the basic one is the pyramids.
Yeah,
Those Great Pyramids were there long before the Egyptians ever showed up, and they've shown that the Sphinx is twice as old as the pyramids.
Well, which
Yes.
one?
Who built those?
There's all supposed to be two sphinxes.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yes, I've heard that too. Also,
So by that, would you say that dinosaurs and humans existed at the same time?
I believe they did. Yeah, I honestly do.
hey,
We don't know
I
our own
remember when
history.
I was a kid. I remember watching the Slee Stacks and everything else in that wonderful,
Yep.
wonderful show, and there was dinosaurs roaming around.
Wasn't that Land Before Time?
Oh no.
Oh.
Been through 46. Jesus.
It was Land of the Lost.
I don't think 46 is the number, Kayla.
46 is not the number?
I don't think so. I think we're beyond that.
Oh, we're past 46. Okay.
Let's see here.
No, you know, I honestly think that human... Okay, so you can think I'm a crazy person or whatever.
We already do.
Everybody
Yeah.
does anyways.
Yeah.
So I think that we recycle as a human race. So that we build up and build up and build up to the point where we are now, a little bit further than we are now in technology and everything. And then we do some dumbassery, okay?
Which is common.
CERN. And we wipe out pretty much everybody on the planet except for set amount of people.
CERN's not dumbassery. You're going to get a T-Rex out, a raptor out of it. Come on now.
Right, and there goes the dinosaurs again. It's all cycling. No, but
Cole wants a raptor. We're going to get him a raptor.
I really do believe that we build up as a society to a certain point, to Atlantis standards, and then we do something that wipes out most of our society. So it pushes us way back down to like
Or a natural disaster.
technology.
Sure.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You can't blame them stupid humans for everything. Sometimes nature just says, you're gone.
Yeah, and it wipes out pretty much everybody. It leaves a small amount of people spread out throughout the earth, and then we build back up from that period and go continue on and recycle. I think we do this several hundreds of times, and I think honestly that the universe itself and that the planet itself are way older than people give it credit for being.
Sure is
well, that's
good.
like some of the people that are natives and so forth like that, and even the Mayans. They talk about the fifth and the sixth world that we're in, and so that means that there was another world still on Earth, but it was wiped out,
Right.
and then comes back again. And there's a few people that are left over, and it looks like something out of a movie that we've
Walking
seen before.
Dead.
Planet of the Apes,
Yeah.
something like that.
Right.
So.
They
sure.
have found
Sure.
these guys in coal mines, like in I think it was Pennsylvania. They're down there digging through the coal, and they break down, and they find a gold chain inside of a coal seam.
Yes.
Yeah, this coal seam formed millions of years ago. So who made that gold chain?
Okay, the
I did.
big one there is like even stuff like the...
Barry, you're older than I thought.
So you got scientific proof
I'm
of
old.
this too, though. You got devices like the Antikythera mechanism that have been
have,
found.
but no, they have batteries in Egypt in the 12th century.
And that's what I'm saying, is that I really honestly believe that we have already done this before. And that we're just in round number who knows what.
I think the batteries in Egypt had something to do with sex.
Those Egyptians were essentially
they were kinky.
Yeah, that's true.
So Sherry has heard of a theory the other day that the pyramids were made out of mountains, not aliens or people actually laying the bricks. What do we think?
They were definitely bricks. They were definitely laid.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, but isn't it possible
Lucky
that they
bricks.
just cut out the bricks of a mountain?
Well, I mean,
no, because geologists
No,
actually
there's not
tested,
a mountain there.
No, but geologists actually tested the brick and found that that particular stone or that particular mineral actually came from a whole other continent.
I'm just saying, evil geniuses do it all
Exactly.
The time. Huh?
They build
Yeah, they know where those
Right,
blocks
but-
were mined. They can actually find
Right.
out.
The geologists actually tested that those particular bricks and that they didn't come from that continent.
Because the Giza Plain is basically a big, flat, hard surface that they built the pyramids up onto. Although there are other places where they've found pyramids. There's one in Bosnia. Supposedly there's one somewhere up in Alaska, but it's buried.
Oh, pyramids!
And there's been some photographs from Antarctica
yes,
that
Antarctica.
show things. There's a mountain ranges, and they look just like pyramids.
Oh, God.
Sherry says,
that's my word of the night.
Sherry says, so you're saying I might be Cleopatra in a past life? Well, that explains a lot.
Oh,
Sherry,
my God.
if you were Cleopatra in a past life, you need to talk to someone because you lost a lot. Like, you need to try and get some
Sherry
of that
might
back.
have been Cleopatra's
The
food
1.4
taster.
trillion we're looking for
Yes.
tonight.
Right.
Yeah. So you know what? So many people are.
I know I knew you from somewhere, Sherry.
So many people are bringing up past lives. We're gonna have to do a past life show.
That would be awesome.
Oh yeah,
That'd be awesome.
that would be awesome.
Well, between your show and ours, Barry, you had a whole slew of people that wanted to hear about past lives towards the end of the
lives.
show. So we'll go ahead and do a
Past lives are
show.
interesting, but when the people I was Napoleon or I was Cleopatra or I was Isaac Newton, those ones bother me. I mean,
Oh,
the
absolutely.
ones I tend to believe more is where they say I was Bill the farmer.
You don't ever hear.
In one life, you might have been Bill the farmer. In the other
But
life,
no,
you might have been Napoleon.
Out of all the people that talk about past lives, you don't ever hear about the peasant, or the poor person, or the baker, or
The one that gets me is the
Well, they
kid
do
with the
have some
Titanic.
stories like that.
They do.
There was one, I believe, it was a kid in Palestine. He was like 8 years old, and he told the police that there was a guy in their town that had murdered him in a past life, and he told the police where the body was and where the weapon was.
Right.
And they dug it up and found it, and they convicted the guy.
Yes.
That would suck so bad.
You think you got away with something?
Yeah, I got rid of the body and the weapon, and then he comes back in today's life and says, "You did it."
Yep.
Although that's kind of happening all over the place right now, and not because of the whole past life thing, but because of like the ability to use DNA and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
our forensics are
Right.
phenomenal.
But like in
Oh,
Seattle, in Seattle last week, they just convicted a lady who killed her newborn baby 23 years ago,
Right.
based off her DNA, and they got her.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Right.
and
But it
the
also
more
Well,
they-
you
says
have
something
to
about-
dissolve the body.
It says
Well,
something
that's the
about
thing.
karma. You know.
Right.
yeah,
well, and so with karma, we'll actually talk about that when we talk past lives, because karma, deja vu, all that plays into past life discussion.
Oh, man.
So yeah, that'd be an interesting 3-hour show.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in July.
Nice.
There we
Got
go.
past lives on.
So
Well, let's get back to Antarctica, man.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
absolutely.
Let's get back to
Yeah.
Antarctica.
I know. I'm
So let's
like,
talk
all
about
right.
some of
who's
these
paying for
here
the plane tickets?
theories. What do you think about the alien ship in the ice? Let's pick that one
I
apart.
think that
first.
one picture you're talking about with the alien ship, I think that might just be a play of light, or maybe even somebody played
Paranoia.
with that
Absolutely.
photo
There
a
you
little
go.
bit. But there are a lot of odd things that people are seeing on Google Earth.
Right.
There's a lot of weird stories coming from people that are down there. They have flight crews that
Yes.
There's one particular story, Barry. Do you know that story about where there was a medical emergency?
Yes.
And they had to fly over a certain area, and they were told not to, but they did it anyway, and they got their asses chewed for that one.
Yeah, that was an Earth Files by Linda Moulton Howe. Linda Moulton Howe's interviewed several whistleblowers about Antarctica and some of the things that have gone on down there. And that was back in 1997. The guy was a retired Air Force. He was in the Air Force from 1977 to 1997, and he was. That all happened in '84. Before that, he was reporting. As they were saying, as he flew the C-30 and took out people's. They would take scientists out and everything else. And in that show, he talks about two different things, plus seeing tons of silver discs in the sky over certain areas of Antarctica, the gigantic hole in the ground that's there that looks like it has a pathway or a driveway that goes down into it, which is a secret base that was alien and scientists all went to. He also talked about, at that time, the medical emergency. They took that detour to get there quicker. Then he was also part of the group that took the missing scientists out. That went out in, I can't remember when that was. I think that was in right before he left in '97. And they dropped 12 scientists off, all their packs, everything else out, very close to where this base was. And 2 days later, they get a call going, well, since you've been out there, you know where they are. We can't reach them on the radio. We need you to fly out there and see if anybody's there. So they fly out there, and all the equipment's all there, everything else, but they didn't find anybody. A week and a half later, they call them and they say, hey, we need you to go out there and pick these guys up. Normally scientists, when they go out, they commit for a month. It's their big deal. They'll stay till the very end of the end. Mm-hmm. And these guys left a week and a half early. And they called and went out there. All the equipment was there. They loaded it all up, skidded it all up, put it in the back of the C-30. And these people jumped on the plane before they even started loading everything. Yeah,
they were freaked out. I remember hearing that story. They wouldn't talk to anybody about anything.
They didn't talk to anybody. They wanted out. And then it went immediately. There's a flight that goes every day from Antarctica into Church over there in New Zealand. And so they immediately got them back. They swapped them on a plane, and no one ever talked to them, and they went straight to New Zealand from there. All of the equipment was quarantined and put away in a different area. And supposedly there's some stories that it might have made its way to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base also, and was stored there for a long time.
I want to go to Wright-Patterson.
Yeah, exactly. But there is so much about it, and there's been other whistleblowers that have talked about it, and then you have the famous case out of Britain when they were doing the radio show close to the Beltane station down there, and the BBC was down there, and they were talking about a documentary crew that was down there to talk about, the 2 mile underneath the ground where a pyramid and Navy SEALs found things and were taking it away. And they were lost, never found again. They're gone, never to be seen or heard from again. So And that was a crew. I think that was a crew of. That happened back in April 13th, I think, 2002. And you can look that up. It was a BBC documentary crew.
So, in reference to Sherry's comment, she says, "I feel like Antarctica is kind of like the oceans. There's so little we actually know about it, and so much to explore." I did watch a documentary on a scientific expedition in, I believe, 2012. Might have been even more recent, where they actually had a film crew on this vessel, and they showed their route, and they showed how treacherous it is to go through this. They had to pick certain areas of the ice fields to actually sail through where it was weaker to get there without destroying their boat. And they dropped nets, and I can't remember the word, you probably know, where they dropped nets along the bottom of the ocean.
Drudge.
Yeah, they drudged.
Yeah, dredging.
And they did bring up octopi and squids and certain species that are new that they aren't documented. So absolutely, there's all kinds of sea life in Antarctica that hasn't been found yet.
Yeah, well, they actually drilled a hole in a lake down there, and I forget how deep it was, but it was enormous. And they sent down there, and it was a decaying system, but there was all kinds of sea life down there. Especially some kind of red fish that kind of glowed also, which was almost see-through and glowing. But
I can't wait for them to dig through the ice and dig up some pathogen from 4 million years ago that kills
us all.
Hey, I can't wait. Yeah.
I honestly think that's where a lot of this comes from, though, is because if you were going to build something secret, that's the perfect place to do it. Who the hell's going to go there?
Yeah.
Who's going to go check?
Us. The talking monkeys.
Really? Us?
Yeah. Well, you know,
Eric, you can't handle -5. How you go?
No, not us. I'm talking about the talking monkeys. I ain't going to Antarctica.
That's the thing. Like, even as a human race, even if the government has a base there, it's not.
It's like -35.
Yeah. Who's actually
in
going
the
to go
summer.
check on it? So. It's less for them to worry about, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you have that whole continent there, and other than, say, McMurdo Sound and Little America, can you name another city or one of the settlements down there? Because they do have them. Yeah. Can you name one? No. Can you name any geographical features? No. Nobody knows anything about Antarctica. We know the average person knows more about the moon or even Mars than we do about that big continent down there in the south. You'd think by now that somebody would have built a resort down there or something, but no.
But
they don't allow anybody in.
Do you, when you actually think about it, you know why we actually know more about the moon and other places? Because we can see it. We see ourselves going there before we see ourselves going to Antarctica.
Yeah. What were you saying, Arnold?
What Barry was talking about, that hole, they dug 3,000 feet down through the ice, and then another 1,600 feet to the sea floor. So, and then that's when their camera spotted all the stuff living on the rocks and all that stuff.
Yeah, but it's actually like a decaying system because it's not getting anything, and so it's so far underneath the ice. But at one time, so what it means is at one time, it was quite a thriving area.
Right.
It is kind of cool that they did find one, like a complete other ecological system that runs completely on nitrogen. Like they don't the animals there. Well, micro animals things.
Microeels. Microbes. There we go.
They don't feed off oxygen or anything off what our Earth normally has on it.
Geologically speaking, oxygen is actually kind of a new thing. Oxygen, you go back millions of years, oxygen was a very rare thing in the atmosphere. And it was mostly nitrogen back then.
Yeah, and these things, when you expose them to actual oxygen, they die.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they're used to breathing nitrogen,
right.
I'm just saying, weak little bitches.
Well, oxygen is kind of a reducing agent. I mean, it causes things like rust and all that, but life as we know it now thrives on it. Mm-hmm. But when oxygen first started showing up, it started killing everything off. Right. Oxygen was a bad thing for the first life forms.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I always think people are nuts when they say, well, it has to be a Goldilocks planet, it has to be here, it has to have oxygen, it has to have water. Does it really? Like, honestly, we have no idea what can thrive in other ecosystems.
Right.
Exactly.
So Sherry wants to know,
100%.
What about the global warming conspiracy? I'm going to be completely honest. The Earth is changing, but I think it's changing naturally. I don't see humans in 200 years, or less than that, destroying the planet.
Well, greenhouse gases...
I can honestly say no one in Texas anymore believes in global warming.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so greenhouse gases themselves, yes, they do cause a shift in atmosphere, and they do cause issues, but we get that from volcanoes, we get that from forest fires, we get that from a lot of different natural causes as well. I mean, it's not just...
So, growing up in the 70s, and I know Barry's probably, Arnold too, age-wise, we're the only three that can relate to the 70s, but I remember as a kid hearing, oh my God, if you go outside and play and you spray an aerosol can, you're going to destroy the ozone layer. And I remember being terrified, thinking, "Oh my God! If I go outside with this can of, I can't go outside, Mom, and spray, this paint or whatever I'm spraying. I can't spray nothing because I'm going to destroy the ozone layer." Yeah.
Well, then what about the big hairspray movement? That makes no sense.
Which one?
The hairspray movement.
I mean, see, that's what happened. They came around and they had, before that you had spray deodorant, you had all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then they came up with this false agenda, this thing saying, oh, we've got a problem with the ozone layer.
Right.
And it was a big ordeal. And you don't hear about the problem with the ozone layer anymore.
No.
Because
there is actually a big place down in, I believe it's just off the east coast of South America and over where the ozone layer is real thin. But that's a natural thing.
It is.
That's not because a guy in Dayton, Ohio was using underarm spray deodorant.
No, and supposedly it will eventually heal itself.
Well,
right.
That spot will move.
Heal itself.
But we have to stop using hairspray.
Like people are talking about, I think Kayla just brought it up, the greenhouse gases.
Right.
Well, like we were talking about a little bit before that, oxygen is a greenhouse gas.
Yes.
Yeah.
The atmosphere, it didn't used to have this much oxygen. It's a greenhouse gas.
I do agree with reducing greenhouse gases. Kayla, no greenhouse.
Oh.
Yeah, no more oxygen.
You can't have greenhouse.
No, she wants to. We're putting a greenhouse up, but
no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do our part.
So, the thing about that people don't understand is, honestly, the biggest threat to our ozone layer, if we're going to say that there's a threat to our ozone layer, is our own damn sun. I mean,
not just that, but we have a space shuttle that's going up all the time, and it's going right through all these different layers and through the ozone layer. Wouldn't that be tearing holes in the ozone layer?
No.
Exactly.
I mean, like,
more so than my hairspray that I don't use.
And that's what I'm saying, though, is that the cosmic rays in themselves are messing up the ozone more than anything else.
Right.
And we don't sit there and yell at the sun.
That's been handled with chemtrails.
Yeah.
Well, like what you said, Eric, about the space shuttles tearing a hole, I don't think they're doing that much these days.
No,
ion engines, man.
But the rover did.
Rover?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
the Mars rover
I
was
don't know
carrying
if
up
you guys saw it. It's on my Facebook page. I posted it. It's from getting back to Antarctica again. What was really interesting is that something happened in Antarctica in 2016, and they didn't report it, and it didn't come out until March 10th. And they This was in Live Science magazine.
Was it that particle that hit that they found?
Exactly.
Ooh.
Has detected, and this is what's really weird, is would you believe there is a observatory down there called the Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory?
Yes, absolutely, I would.
It is in Antarctica. And I guarantee it's probably one of the only ones that's still open.
Right.
But this remote particle was the most energetic antimatter particle ever. And it's a single ultralight particle that's smacked into the Antarctica ice. And it's really weird. With they say relatively the size, it would be like hitting a thundering energy of 6,300 flying mosquitoes.
Damn.
Which just smacking into one thing at the same time. But
basically they were saying that the thing hit back then, and they can still measure the resonance from its impact years later.
Exactly.
That is an energetic piece of thing.
That is something that's just weird. And it just so happens to happen in Antarctica.
That's where Thor's hammer landed.
There's so many different things about Antarctica, and you talked about Admiral Byrd, and there's so many things that he was talking about, and the things that he was doing, and he actually literally came out and said, "Look, we're facing some evil stuff down there," and you got to remember that. How did Tom Hanks get over there? Tom Hanks was one of the people that went over there. Princess Harry was over there because of trying to promote some kind of wounded soldier thing where they were going to walk around over there for a while. Why would you have to go to Antarctica to do that?
I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah, yep.
I get the Wounded Warrior newsletter all the time.
Yeah, well, that was. I mean, it was a top secret type of thing, and then Curvo, the Archbishop Curvo out of Russia, went down there to bless an old church down there, and then Tom Hanks visits there, and then Buzz Aldrin goes there, and you remember when Buzz came back, he had a lot of problems, and his big statement was, "We are all in danger. It's the evil itself. It's the most evil."
Yeah, that was a quote from him.
Mm-hmm.
What do they know that they're not telling us?
Right.
There's something there.
Yeah, there is things that there is there. Byrd flew over and went to the North Pole and the South Pole, seeing reported hollow Earth on both ends of the pole. There was, kind of like the X-File movie. Remember the X-File movie when they have to save Scully?
Yeah, and the spaceship came out of the ice.
Right, that was in Antarctica.
Yeah.
What are they talking about? Seeing a large disk. There's stuff up there. There is actually a 14-mile structure that is seen can be seen from space, and it's been measured. What is that out there? And it seems to move. It's like they can pull it across the ice or the area, but it's 14 miles long, and it's a structure. And they think that it is a structure that is used to do archaeological digs.
I could see it. I'd be doing some archaeological digs if I was in Antarctica.
And the whistleblowers that are coming out of there, I mean, there are whistleblowers everywhere. And, I know that some people go, well, that's pretty crazy. But, when you look at whistleblowers, what are they doing? They're telling a story that they were told that they didn't have to sign something, or it bothers them so much that they actually come through, just like the guy we talked about that was flying out of McNuro and then went over to the Davis station on the east side for a medical emergency. And the things that he has seen there and the things that they shut him up about, and really crazy. And there's a list of them. And then you've got Oumuamua. What about Oumuamua?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. Where did Oumuamua go? They talked about it for a few months.
No, it's actually in Antarctica. They believe that there is where it hit the ground and it skidded, and there's whistleblowers that have talked about that. Actually, also, that was. Let me see if I can find that one.
Well, I've heard that there's things down there, but I think they tracked Oumuamua coming in from deep space and whipping around, and when it exited the system, but when it exited our system, it sped up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It got faster on the way out, which makes no sense.
But you stop hearing about it. They stopped completely talking about
left.
it, which
Absolutely.
is. Wouldn't you track it though? I mean, come on. This is a cigar-shaped craft, which we've talked about cigar-shaped crafts on the show many times, and it was moving on its own. There's been arguments about that, but it's obvious it was moving on its own power because they don't just speed up and slow down and then speed up and turn around and go back out again. They don't do that.
It was just an elongated weather balloon. It's fine. It's fine.
But no, yeah, I haven't. See if you can find that because I haven't heard anything about it crashing on Earth. I thought it went back.
Yeah,
out.
well, there's a picture of it. There's a picture of it. In fact, it was on Ancient Aliens at one time, and you can see it every once in a while. I'll see if I can find it. But it slid across of it, and they were showing how long this skid was. I've seen
those pictures.
Pushes everything out.
I think there was something there that definitely crashed, but I don't think it was a Oumuamua.
Right. Well, they compare it.
It was something like it.
It's the same size to a Oumuamua, and when you look at it, it looks like a Oumuamua underneath all this ice that's pushed out, and it hit a side of a hill and then just skidded on down. There's supposed to be. That's where. In Antarctica also, there's an Navy insider corroborates secret Antarctica space fleet and a mission to Oumuamua where they actually flew up and docked with Oumuamua at one point. There's a lot of stuff that takes you back into all of the hidden history of Antarctica.
Maybe these will be really. Maybe these will be released in the secret Pentagon files they're supposed to be releasing.
That'd be kind of cool.
I doubt it because
there's so much on it, and the speculation is, and I can understand because we're not allowed there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to have special permission to go there. But at the same time, why is it that? You get Prince Harry goes over there, Tom Hanks goes over there, and Buzz Aldrin goes there.
Because they got money.
I don't know if it's.
I do want to say that
it's money or
the
not.
special permission thing, that really does make sense to me. Just because it is an area that no one's allowed to own.
Right.
And we're not all.
So who do you get the special? So who do you get the special approval from? If no one owns it.
The UN.
So I guess
you
the
apply
UN
for an expedition.
Yeah, you have to
It's the
apply for
UN.
it through the UN.
But the thing is, like, and it's because there has been quite a few times where certain explorers have almost started a war over Antarctica.
Admiral Byrd?
It's mine.
A funny story about Admiral Byrd is he went on his own. I'm sure you guys heard this story. But he split off from his party, and he went to his underground cabin, and they lost track of him, and didn't realize he was having he had carbon monoxide poisoning from his own stove. So they actually had, two of them actually went out and had to rescue him and bring him back to their main little America base. But he was talking all kinds of crazy shit under carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
That's the story we get anyway.
Right.
It was on video too.
Yeah, but was it carbon monoxide poisoning?
I could see it back then with the stoves they were using. That does make sense. Mm-hmm. They didn't have all.
But he was an Arctic explorer guy. He would kind of know about that, wouldn't he?
I would think.
You would think so.
You would think.
You don't just decide, hey, I'm going to pick up right now and go to Antarctica without any gear and without anything that works up there. Like,
right.
That's how I'd do it. I mean.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so on that note, we are going to take our first break. When we come back, we will carry on our dissecting of conspiracy theories of Antarctica.
And we'll get right back.
A bunch of them.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Right.
And welcome back to S4 for our second hour talking all conspiracies involving Antarctica tonight.
And the penguins.
And the penguins, yep. Penguins are... That's it! We solved it.
What?
The penguins are the black-eyed children.
Oh, God, no. Okay.
Oh,
now
come on.
You're just being crazy.
The
That's
penguins
crazy.
are innocent.
They're innocent.
Yes.
Penguins are savage, dude.
Whatever.
So here's a theory for you. Has no founding or basis on anything, but what if all the missing 401 people are actually walking through a gateway to Antarctica?
You know that there is actually a lot of people that believe that there is a Stargate in Antarctica. Like,
Yes.
honestly, there's a huge belief system of a
There's
Stargate
only,
in Antarctica.
if I remember right, there are only 3 on this planet.
It depends
Did
on
anyone
who
see
you
the
talk
picture
to.
of the new Stargate?
No.
Do you know Epcot Center?
Really?
They have built. It looks exactly like a Stargate. It's weird.
Stargate.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So, you want to talk conspiracies? There is a conspiracy out there that the only reason we went to Iraq wasn't for oil, but it was for the Stargate that was in Iraq. We're in the Middle East.
No,
That's
there is a theory, about Antarctica that specifically states that there is a Stargate in Antarctica, that the Stargate in Antarctica is the only one on Earth, and that the power that is generated by the Stargate on Antarctica is actually what sets up our magnetic poles. Okay? So there is this huge theory on that.
So if we mess with the Stargate in Antarctica, that will cause the polar shift in the North and South poles to reverse.
That's kind of what the whole... Yeah, that's part
Well,
of
you
the
could
whole
look at it the
theory.
opposite way and say that the Stargate's being powered by the magnetic pole, and that's why it's there.
That could be too.
You get that's why you have it's 2 poles. All the energetic particles from the sun are gathered at the North Pole and the South Pole. The magnetic field keeps it away from everywhere else.
Right. Yeah, there is a huge theory on Stargates, star travel, and the poles.
So who set that up?
Who set up what? The Stargate?
The whole Stargate North-South Pole collaboration.
I don't know.
SG-1.
SG-1?
Probably is, I don't know. I would say that if we had actually ever gotten to the point where we could do teleportation of a human being, okay, it would have to be in some kind of an enclosed area where you wouldn't be mixing your particles with somebody else's. So, I mean, honestly, walking through a Stargate or going into a machine like that kind of makes sense. Just saying.
Well, we don't really know how they work, so that's all just speculation.
Right. I'm not saying that it's absolute truth by any means, but I'm just saying if you were to look at the scientific side of it, you go, hey, if we are doing particle exchange, it's kind of like beam me up, Scotty action. It's going to be more of a one-on-one, one person at a time through a field of some kind.
So what about CERN? Let's bring CERN into this. Do you think CERN is messing with it?
Messing with what? The Stargates? Or messing with... I honestly, I would...
I think
Portals,
CERN's
I
a
think they're
whole
missing
different
it.
animal.
Yeah, CERN is
Yeah.
a whole different animal, all different things, But, how many times did Byrd go to Antarctica?
4.
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, he did 4 different expeditions, including Operation
High jump.
High Jump.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
I
now
believe
there's the story.
I believe High Jump was his last expedition.
Right. And that was financed totally by the United States Navy.
Right. Absolutely.
And High Jump was the code name. It was supposed to last for 6 months, but was quickly aborted after 2 months. And basically
The aliens told them to go home.
Yeah, well, that was like, this was under the command of Admiral Byrd. It was a powerful military squadron.
Yeah, they didn't just go down there with one ship full of scientists. They went down there with an entire fleet of already troops.
They went with the entire fleet. They had planes. They had,
all kinds of jets.
Oh, yeah.
Submarines, aircraft carriers.
Now, why would they? Yeah, they had an aircraft carrier. They had 12 surface ships, 1 submarine, 20 airplanes, helicopters, and 5,000 people on staff. So they were definitely... it's awful strange to be a scientific expedition, you know. So what did they know or what did they think? Because I think that, you know, America, from the beginning of even Project Paperclip, you know, when we've always had an interest in the techno-magic legacy of Germany. You know, we brought all these people over and all this stuff. Right. But, you know, on December 2nd, 1946, before the start of the expedition, Admiral Byrd at a press conference said, "My exhibition is military in nature, and will give no further details." At the end of January 47, full-scale aerial reconnaissance began surveying the Antarctica region of the Queen Maud's land, and it all went to plan for the first week. Tens of thousands of photos were taken. Suddenly, the unpredictable happened. The 6-month expedition was terminated after only 2 months, fleeing the Antarctic coast, and it was a really fast retreat.
Well,
wasn't that?
How did we lose a destroyer? You know, there was a U.S. Congress investigation into it. In the event, this is what Admiral Byrd said, in the event of another war, America can be attacked by an enemy that has the ability to fly from pole to pole with incredible speed.
What are you saying?
The aliens come out and said, "Get off our lawn."
Well, wasn't that one of the missions that one of their planes went missing for a while, and they found this beautiful landscape and met with these aliens supposedly, and they told them that, "Hey, you really messed up when you dropped the big bomb."
Yes.
And shortly after that, and he was released to go back to his station, but they also said, "You guys really did a bad thing when you did that," and then that's when it all started.
Is that when Byrd supposedly met with a being named not the messenger? Oh God, what was his name? They actually named this alien or this being that
entity. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't remember the name of that being now. But that's when Byrd was supposed to have gone underground to the this world. But yeah, no, there's definitely a lot that we haven't seen, that we haven't read. I don't hold a lot of faith in the Admiral Byrd diaries because anybody could have written them. And anybody could publish a book and say it came from, I'm Admiral Byrd and this is what, you know. So when it comes to valid sources, I don't see it as a valid source. But finding valid sources in any of this is hard because the government's not going to come out and say, "Yep, Admiral Byrd went and met aliens." That ain't going to happen.
Right. Are you talking about when he met the Masters?
The Masters. There you go. That's who it was.
Yes.
And those were... Okay, so there is another story. It takes place in Taiwan, in one of their forbidden cities, where they say that they went underground in Taiwan in this cave system, and they found the Masters. And the Masters were sitting in their floating chairs and spoke a different language and everything like that. So it kind of makes me wonder if it could potentially be the same species of whatever. I mean, because they supposedly referred to themselves as the Masters. So,
Calm down, Chris Angel.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, I can't float. Yeah, I'll float down here.
Didn't you say a high jump was 1947?
Yeah. I believe it ended
Well,
in 47.
gee, what else happened in 1947?
Roswell.
Roswell. Maybe they're connected.
The Maury Island incident, Kenneth Arnold, they all happened.
The beginning of all the craziness
Yep.
with the UFO-age. Yeah.
Maybe we found out where they were hanging out, and we went and knocked on their front door, and they told us to go away.
Or maybe Antarctica has something to do with the reason two UFOs crashed into each other in Roswell.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing that out there.
Right. Yeah. And bounced off, and one went one way, and the other went to the other
Yeah.
crash site.
Didn't one
not
land
even
in
mentioned hardly anymore.
One was in Los Alamos, I believe, and the other one was in Roswell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, but
I think it's
Yeah, but there's so much stories
Anaugusta
about.
Plain or something.
Say again?
Yeah.
Anaugusta Plain, the second one?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, and again, shortly after that, you had the other UFO crash in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
That they actually tracked on radar, moving across Texas, and crashed in. And that was actually, Jesse Ventura actually had that on one of his episodes of Conspiracy Theory.
Was that the one where by the time the Americans showed up, the Mexican officials had already been there in the military and they were all dead?
I don't remember them being dead. I know they turned the craft over to the U.S., though.
Huh. Seems a little fishy. I mean, if I found an alien craft and I was from a different country, I don't think that I'd just be like, here you go, guys.
Well, that's what's stupid.
I mean...
They're not the only country that's done that. Argentina turned over UFO and aliens to the U.S.
Why do you think we give them billions of dollars every year?
Right?
The secret UFO fund. Here's a bunch of money. If you find something, give us a call.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why we all of a sudden took over Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's something in Puerto
Yeah,
Rico.
Puerto Rico, you could probably do a whole show on that place.
Yeah, no joke.
And Cuba, it wasn't for the cigars.
Well, no, that was for Guatemala.
Cuba.
You know, when we're talking about Antarctica, though, I mean, a place that is that big, that has that much mass, that
Right.
It is weird to me that there hasn't been more people there. I'm sorry, like, even if it is just
Classified?
it's just a ball of ice, okay? There still should have been more people exploring this and seeing this and doing.
I'm telling you,
so-
they don't want us there because we're going to fall off the big giant ice wall and into the ether.
Sherry asks, has anyone disappeared in Antarctica or had an unexplained death? Unfortunately, Antarctica is one of those places where every death is honestly unexplained, so they explain it with they froze to death.
Yeah, hypothermia. Hypothermia
That-
is always
Yeah.
going to be their answer.
That is automatically not, that's something you can't actually judge upon because
No.
There's too many.
it is
ways
such a
to
harsh
explain
climate
it.
that,
It's an environmental hazard by itself.
yeah, just going there, you have to expect you're probably not coming back. And, it's like the guys who do the Iditarod. When they perform that race, all of them before they do, they make sure their wills and everything are updated.
Right.
Right.
So it's just one of those things you can't expect not to have a chance of dying there.
You know, I prepared for tonight's show by checking out the
You
book
sat in the freezer.
At the Mountains of Madness, H.P. Lovecraft.
Uh-huh.
And that was written in 1930. Expedition goes down to Antarctica. A small expedition jumps off of that. They lose contact with them. They go and find them. They're all dead, and there's some type of ancient beings that were frozen that they found that woke up, and they end up flying around and finding a whole civilization down there.
Right.
It's an interesting book, and it was written in 1930.
Right.
Well, I mean, okay, so we are still finding people in environments and tribes and different things like this that we didn't expect to find people in.
Look at the Amazon.
Hey, we're finding people all the time. We're finding new civilizations. We're finding old civilizations.
Yeah.
And we're finding all kinds of new species. Every day we're finding new species. So I don't see why there wouldn't be something in Antarctica. I mean, I understand that it's got harsh climates, but so do a lot of
There's
these
something
other places.
everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Life will find a way.
Right?
They've gone down to the bottom of the ocean, and they have these volcanic vents down there. They call them black smokers, and they figure there's no way anything could live down there. And there's life all over the place down there.
So I don't see how there wouldn't be some form of at least semi-intelligent life on Antarctica. Like,
Yeah, they're called penguins.
well,
Thinking penguins.
And you know, I love using X-Files for a perfect example of that, because that was a good movie. Is it possible there's an alien civilization under the ice? It is possible. Are we ever going to find
Well, if you were
out?
the aliens and you were going to come to Earth, and you had to find a place, okay, we need a base, but we need a place that these hairless monkeys aren't going to bother us. Where would you set up?
Antarctica.
Not somewhere that freaking
Right.
cold.
well, we
Well,
don't know that that's cold to them. Honestly, think about the surface temperature of most planets. This is probably closer to home than anything else that's on Earth.
The Amazon's kind of nice.
You're right.
Desert.
You're right. Yeah,
That's got a lot of sand. Never mind.
I'm sure that we got races that have been in the Amazon too. Look at some of the temples they got there.
No, at the same time, there's a lot of snakes there. Screw that shit.
But
Humans have kind of taken the best places on Earth and just made, like, kind of leave all the places that suck.
Well, the best places for us to live, but we don't know what an alien civilization or a different form of humanity even would be able to live in.
Yeah, we do. You don't like the cold.
Oh, God. Okay.
look at the base they had in the abyss.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the oceans, that's a great place to hide out.
Absolutely. And Bermuda Triangle.
Actually, a lot of movies do base aliens in water.
They do.
They do.
Yep.
Like,
Yes.
that is a big thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we insult aliens all the time with our movies.
Well, what if they're based on fact?
I don't.
How many USOs?
Come on, no one's brought up the thing yet?
How many?
They found something in the ice.
Yeah.
Right. Something they didn't want
They
to
came
deal
back
with.
alive.
You know, and something we don't talk about on the show a lot are USOs. That's underwater submergible objects. I mean,
Right. They're everywhere. I mean, we have whole cryptid categories that are just straight up water cryptids. I mean,
I don't do water, so we don't talk about water.
right. But why is there no ice cryptids then? Why, like, okay, so you're telling me that there is no possibility of there being some form of like Yeti?
Maybe we're going to find. What if we find Loch Ness stuck in the Antarctic ice?
Honestly, it would be too cold if Loch Ness is actually.
Okay, so not the actual Loch Ness, obviously, but it's a Loch Ness type creature.
Well, I'm sure we would find something like that, especially if it used to be a tropical area. I mean, if you think about the fact that this went massively frozen, and if it did it really quick, Ice Age style, then there's no reason that we wouldn't find a lot of different dinosaur-type bones and things there.
Right.
They'd be everywhere, and some of them would be really well preserved, actually. We could probably be eating Loch Ness.
We can get Raptor now.
Sweet.
Where you go, Barry?
Barry?
He's reading.
We're assuming that Antarctica is all frozen tundra and super cold. It is on the surface, but when they found this huge underground lake that's kilometers deep under the ice, that lake temperature was 64 degrees Fahrenheit. One of the things about Antarctica is that there are volcanoes underneath of it. They're bubbling up all the time. It heats the water up so fast it melts the ice. Sherry was talking about, what about all the conspiracies of the global warming? Well, it's not global warming when the ice is melting, and it is known that located above that water surface, there are dome-type vaults with warm air in them. There's rivers that flow into the ocean that are warm, and they make these tunnels. And they've formed miles and miles of ice tunnels.
That's it.
Yeah.
I want to go hot tubbing in Antarctica.
What else would be secret? That would be a great place for an underground base.
Right.
Submarines could pass in it. Anything could pass through it. So, and when you look at the Germans and all the things that happened in the whole Nazi type thing, that was their code name for that base was Base 211. And they said a lot of different things to it.
If you think about the Nazis, and if you think about the fact that they were really into fringe science, okay?
They were into aliens. They were into aliens.
They were into spiritual. They were into aliens. They were into anything that they thought might even hold the slightest bit of truth. And they went and they chased after it.
Right. The first crash site of a UFO was in Germany. And what did they model their whole society after? The Aryan race, which is tall, blonde-haired aliens that were underground. That was what they talked about the aliens. What race does that sound like to you?
Nordics.
Actually, there are quite a few different races fit that category.
Yeah, but they're, blonde hairs and everything else. But when, at the end of 46, the whole story about Byrd and this U.S. naval thing was he received the orders to destroy the Nazi base in Antarctica. And that's when the squadron reached all kinds of stuff. And there are actual testimonies that you don't see from here. You see them from the UK, Russia, and everything else of people actually responding. Admiral Byrd not only reported fighter jets with incredible capacities to Washington, but also discussed an attack on an expedition by strange flying saucers. They emerged from the water at high speeds, causing heavy damage to the expedition. On February 26, 1947, a battle took place, which is described by a member of the expedition and an experienced pilot, John Surson. And his testimony is from the deck of the Casablanca. And they flew vertically out of the water in a fury, splitting between the masses of the ships, which such speed that the air flow dislodged the radio antennas. I didn't even have time to blink an eye. He said he saw two Corsairs from the Casablanca were slain by some kind of mysterious ray shot from the nose section of the flying saucers. Then they dived into the water near the ships. At the time, I was on the Casablanca and saw, as I now am looking at you, I didn't understand these objects were silent, but as they floated between the ships, like a satanic beast spitting deadly fire, suddenly I saw a destroyer, the Murdoch, which was about 120 feet away. The flames flashed and it began to sink. Despite the dangers, rescue teams and lifeboats were immediately dispatched to the disaster site and the other ships. The nightmare lasted for about 20 minutes. Then the saucers again dived under the water, and we evaluated our losses. We were It was terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Where did these flying saucers belong to? Could it have been Nazi Germany after the war?
See, here's my problem with that. If Nazi Germany had a fleet of flying saucers, don't you think we would have lost a lot more than we did during the war?
Well, who says they were Nazis? Maybe the Nazis found out about them and went to talk to them. They weren't necessarily flying the things around.
Right.
Whoever they went to talk to was flying the things around.
Well, how many pictures have you seen of the Humana? Tons.
The Humana?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
India? Well, no, I'm talking about the aircraft. They had the Humana. What was that? The Humana 1, 2, and 3 in Germany. And they're round flying discs.
But they didn't make it off. They didn't make it 5 feet off the ground. They hovered 5 feet.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. They didn't get to the technology that they could have had we not intervened.
Either they did, but if they got 5 feet more off the ground, they crashed.
Right.
And that's where that one in Antarctica is. That was a Nazi-flown UFO.
That could have been.
And they just really sucked at flying them. That's why they didn't do well in World War II.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably
you got to think of how many technological advances did they actually come up with that they found they just sucked at using. So they didn't.
Well, one of the weird things about it is that we do know that secret archives did prove that there was very intriguing photos and drawings that they discovered, and German scientists were actually engaged in developing this
not to mention, Barry, how many do we not even know about? I mean, because he was good about hiding his documents and hiding his files in the mountains of Germany. So there's a lot of stuff we probably never even discovered.
So the other thing that interests me about that particular thing that you were talking about is about the fire that was coming out of this. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Might be a Moore Island.
We know that there was that map that was made in ancient Greece.
Right.
That shows...
Right.
Yes. Well, nobody to this day knows the chemical makeup of Greek fire.
True, exactly.
It is a huge weapon that they used all over the place. Mm-hmm. And it's documented that, yes, this was a weapon they used. So if they were to have made contact with a species there that gave them this chemical makeup, well, those two things kind of go coinciding too. So I find that a little interesting.
I know why they can't recreate it.
Well, like Eric said, why didn't the Nazis come up with this? Well, I think a lot of the Nazi scientists didn't really dig what the Nazis were doing around the world. And maybe they didn't quite develop things quite along the speed that they could have. In other words, they didn't want the Nazis to get this technology. It was like, yeah, okay, you want me to work on this? I'll work on it. Let me see, let's go have some coffee,
There is one I can't remember his name, but there is one scientist who did actually do that. He tried to foil every plan that they had.
That was Von Braun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I'm sure there was a bunch of them. Yeah. Von Braun was he just loved his rockets.
Right.
He was good at it, and he did everything he could to get those things working.
But when it came to the Nazis, he didn't give them certain information so that every time they tried, nothing worked.
And that's possible. That's possible with a lot of them. When it came to the rocketry and the flying machines and things of that nature, it is quite possible. Mm-hmm. But I don't. So, if there's a race that has a base in Antarctica, I don't think they made an agreement with the Nazis.
No.
When it comes to Byrd, if he was attacked by a race that was in Antarctica, I think it was just because they didn't want Byrd and his expedition to be there.
Well,
exactly.
It had nothing to do with the Nazis.
So here's my thing. if you come and you came to my house and you brought a
Oh, yeah.
troop of 10,000 people,
Yeah, a
and
whole
you
lot of
started
dead people.
searching around everywhere, I mean, what are you going to do? So if this is your
You're gonna
home,
attack.
you are going to defend your home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
He should have brought a muffin basket.
I should have offered him some
I want a muffin.
Starbucks.
offered him some Starbucks.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure Starbucks was
I didn't, but
okay.
give him some coffee. Yeah, come on.
Here, warm up.
Oh, you
aliens.
can't drink it? Here, it absorbs through your skin, right? Yeah, it'll still absorb. Yeah, it's caffeine. Come
Oh
on.
my god.
Try a cigarette.
Do we still have the option of the muffin?
Muffin on.
You sure? Give him a basket of muffins, like Joe said.
You know, if we as a race went to these different places more as an olive branch or a peace offering,
We never will.
I understand.
The talking
that,
monkeys are too barbaric for most other races to even accept us as space brothers or anything else.
but, yeah, I just
I mean, come on. It's always going to be
Well,
a
human history shows that if you give an olive branch to strange invaders, it usually doesn't work out well.
No, it probably
Like
blows up.
like for the Aztec Empire, when the conquistadors showed up, they went, "Hey, look at these guys! They're great." How'd that turn out?
Dude,
yeah, for sure.
even more recent, how about the Native Americans?
Yeah, here, have some blankets,
Well,
guys.
yeah, same
You
They
thing.
know.
have some blankets. They got some smallpox on them, but yeah.
Yeah, you assholes.
No,
I mean, yeah, there's no such thing as an olive branch.
yeah, I guess so. I guess I would like to think that there is a possibility of humanity being more humane, but
I mean,
it makes me sad.
You know one of the surprising things that I find that's well-known fact is in Antarctica. You know, we have a military presence there, right? But
Right.
the American Antarctic stations personnel are basically personnel from the National Security Agency, the American Military Technical Intelligence and Electronic Intelligence, and the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, which represent the main research personnel for all of the American Antarctic stations. So why are they there?
I don't know, man. I mean, honestly, well, okay. So, look, if you were going to build a machine, and it was a machine that you probably shouldn't build, let's say 5 times the size of the Hadron Collider and all of this stuff, okay? If you were honestly going to, though, where better to do it than somewhere nobody's even allowed to look at on the map? I mean, that would be the perfect space for you to do your scientific research, where you are not going to be impeded by anything.
Until the South Pole does a flip-flop with the North Pole.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
we're all kind of screwed if that happens. I mean, honestly.
Well, you talk about magnetics too. There's one area in Antarctica that is one of the most magnetic area in the whole world.
Oh yeah. They've detected that. It's deep underground, but it's huge. Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is gigantic, and some of the things that they say, even though you can say, parodia on some of the things that they have looked at pictures of and everything else, but there are other things, I mean, like when you can see a 14 miles long structure from space, and nobody hears about it or sees about it, but it has been identified and has been talked about by whistleblowers. That's kind of an odd thing.
right.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, okay. So
And then we've all heard the reports from any of these people who are whistleblowers are saying, look, I was there, I went into the tunnel. There was light in there. It was a weird greenish, bluish light, and there was signias all down the sides of the thing. They have supposedly found and been digging up archaeological digs there. What are they bringing out? Who's got them?
Right.
Well, that's $1 million question. Who's got them now?
Right. Exactly. You know, if you look with the mind and you say, hey, if this was happening, and this is true, and where are these guys all of a sudden just trying to get? Is it a disinformation program? But why would you have a disinformation program about Antarctica? You know, whistleblowers are normally telling you a story that hurt them so much to the core that it leaves them with PSD. You know,
maybe that's where Warehouse 13 is.
Something.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Could be.
Okay,
Could
so
be.
honestly, though, if you actually think about it, and you think about that, everybody that's going there has, well, most of the people that are going there have some form of scientific background.
Right.
Okay? So, think about it like the show Eureka. Okay? Now, if you have a space where there is no FDA rules, there is no any of this stuff, you are free to do whatever you can do. Well, that would be a utopia for people to be able to go and do all of these experiments that they've always wanted to do, but whatever country that they come from, there's a regulation over this, there's a regulation over that.
Right.
This is free land. This is the Wild West of engineering. I mean, you could do anything. And who is there to stop you? Is there a police force in Antarctica? There might be one or two people that state they are, but are they? I mean, what do you...
Whack and Hut security.
Right? So
That's who's there.
So, I mean, I don't think there would be any better place because it has no rules.
Oh, real quick, for those listeners that don't know what Whack and Hut is, that's the security force that's supposed to be at Area 51. Amongst the many other government projects, they always hire Whack and Hut.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and pull it into that even. Like, if we're going to pull it into that, could this be where the MIB is based out of?
Ooh.
Because of the fact that there are no actual overseeing happening there?
No.
I mean, honestly, it could be anything.
What if the Men in Black are the police force of Antarctica?
They're in that big building in New York, the cement one.
Oh, jeez.
I saw that.
Oh, but I mean, there is no better place. You have no rules.
No.
You have no obligation to anybody except for yourself. So why not?
Wait, so did you say
There's
that?
rules.
Did you
Except
say
don't
that?
screw with the penguins. They'll take you out.
Oh, yeah. Did you say the United States was over Antarctica? Or the UN?
The
Certain
UN
areas.
The
They
UN
They have
is-
areas of control.
That's
Yeah.
it. Well, you got the UK is over there, France is there, Germany's there. There's a whole plethora of people that have a working relationship.
Even the Russians are down there.
Even the Russians are.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not basically the UN. It's another group.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Yeah,
and
this is more
there's
like-
been.
This is more like the International Space Station as far as on Earth,
Yeah.
where there's
Right.
everybody from everywhere, and they have their own set of rules, their own set of guidelines, their own set of stuff that they're working off of.
But the general tourist could not go to Antarctica.
No, not
No.
without some super special permission.
Oh, hell no. I'm going.
You know you can't drive there, right?
Oh. I guess I'm going to have to learn to fly, right?
Depends on what you're driving.
Right?
You know, there's been so many whistleblowers coming out of there. You know, like on July 19, 2018, they're talking about finding the Navy Navy SEAL reveals secret mission to ancient burial structure in Antarctica. And where it was and what it was all about, and some of the hieroglyphics that was seen there, walls and doors being covered with hieroglyphics. Were about 8 inches to 8 inches high and about 2 inches from the base. The hieroglyphics were either Egyptian or Mayan, but appeared similar. Were neither Egyptian or Mayan, but appeared similar in both terms by depicting animals and other strange symbols.
But I recall too there were hieroglyphs on the space debris at Roswell from the crash saucer.
Yes.
Right.
So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me none. It's a language that I don't think they ever translated, and they still don't know what it is. And which is funny because it could just be no smoking around the craft. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, so that is a good connection there. But will we ever see it? Probably not.
No.
Who knows, man?
And it's probably
They're not showing us nothing.
It's probably underneath the Vatican.
I mean, there's so many different. I mean, when you start looking at the conspiracies and all the things that go with that, there's talk about. It gets so weird in Antarctica because, supposedly that's where there's even a story about the. That's the place where the imprisoned fallen angels from the Book of Enoch are. It's just amazing what is there. Extraterrestrial colony. There's some about a flash frozen alien civilization there. We do know for a fact that some of the scientists have said that there is DNA there that is not of this earth, and they don't know anything about it. So what is it? I don't know. But there is so much that is steaming about that, and I just go. It's one of those places. It's like trying to get into Area 51.
I always think of it as the Wild West of technological advancement and of alien civilization. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
There's just so many things about it that are really close to fishy. Okay, there's no other way to put that. There's a lot of fishy stuff happening in Antarctica. So
ask the penguins; they can tell you everything.
Think of all the decades that they've been down there. Scientists galore. They're mapping. They're testing. They're doing all their stuff down there. Has anybody ever heard anything about any of these studies?
No.
I mean, they pop out one or two every once in a while, but it's about core samples and such.
Not even that. Yeah. It's amazing what kind of crap you find when you actually research Antarctica. Because I mean, I pull up a video from a preacher. I'm not going to give him the benefit of saying his name. He's a kook. But he's the one that was talking about, there's an elevator that goes down to Satan's lair, and in the end times, Antarctica's going to open up, and Lucifer's going to come out, and the alien, the Nazi UFOs are going to come flying out, and there's going to be signs and wonders. Like, really?
Well,
seriously?
That's why they tell you, there's so much misinformation about it that you're not hearing any real information about it.
Well, that's what classified documents and everything else. That's why you go with some of these whistleblowers. And why does a whistleblower do the things that they do? Well,
I'll tell you exactly why the whistleblowers do it. They're trying to release some information to try to let people know. So then the guys in charge say, "Hey, Bill, you're going to be a nut, and you're going to tell some story about Satan and UFOs from the Nazis coming out and all that." It's just disinformation.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And then people like, Eric, say, everything's all crazy because they all think it's demons and Nazi UFOs.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
And then
but,
people hear that and they go, it's all bullshit. Nope.
Yeah, but what's the real?
There's something
what
going
are
on
they
down
really
there.
Hiding if
They
there
wouldn't
is?
keep it
It's
so
happening.
secret unless there was something to be kept
Something
secret.
going on.
That's usually the only time they keep it secret.
The Easter Bunny lives there.
The Easter Bunny? It's too cool for Easter Bunny.
Santa got the north, Easter got the south.
You gotta watch Guardians of the. Oh God, what's that cartoon? Huh?
No.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
The
Galaxy?
Guardians.
No.
The Guardians.
The Guardians, yeah.
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 They
Jack
tell
Frost.
it all. Santa Claus is Russian. Easter Bunny, well, he's the Easter Bunny.
So are they
He was
whistleblowers?
Australian.
Huh?
Are they whistleblowers then?
They are.
Those bastards.
But see, it's that attitude right there, man.
But okay, so let's dig into this. Which race is up the Antarctica?
Not the Greys, because they're always naked and that'd be cold.
Right?
They aren't naked. That's a suit.
How do you know?
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
You never see a gray wearing a nice warm coat.
No.
Right? And they're more in our area more. Like not, well, Alaska, I guess. Alaska's pretty cold. And there is
and you look at
Maybe for the aliens, it's just like we are with Antarctica. You know, there's a place where the Americans are, and there's a place where the Russians are, and there's a place where the Norwegians are, and there's a place where the British are. Maybe that they divided up the Earth the same way. They say, okay, no one can own Earth. Okay, the Greys, you get North America, and every place has got something different.
Yeah.
Well, what if
They're all divided up. They say you can't own it, but you can hang out in that area and do whatever you want.
But what if it's like we do? It's a scientific expeditionary area for the humans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. So what if that's
The
also,
whole Earth is a scientific area expedition, just like Antarctica is for them.
What if the Antarctic base is actually their scientific lair?
And it could be.
Maybe that's their UN.
Where it's multiple alien races that actually work there.
Okay, and
I'm
maybe,
sure they do.
Maybe, okay, so you guys have always talked about the Galactic Consortium and
Right.
the Council and everything else.
Right.
Well, who do they come and talk to if they needed something from Earth? Like, honestly, if they did, if they needed to have information or something like that passed about Earth, why would they land somewhere where anybody can see them? Why would they come somewhere where anybody can? If you are going to, go to a place where nobody can even view.
Like Antarctica?
Yeah.
It's the Alien Visitor Center.
That's what I'm saying.
Welcome to Earth! Yeah.
All right.
Welcome to Earth. This is
That's where the
Antarctica.
FBI
There's
where the
not many hairy
MIT
monkeys
are.
here.
Well, to be fair, isn't the G8 usually held in Sweden or Switzerland?
Which is?
G8
And
Summit.
I don't believe that place exists because they describe it as like a perfect place where everyone's happy. That doesn't exist.
What, Switzerland doesn't exist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I've been there.
So
It's kind of cool because there's one area that you can actually you can actually hit Switzerland, Germany, and France in like a circle.
see, and that's what I mean. You think you've been there, but it was just more Germany.
Oh, God. Okay.
It's all part of the Matrix.
Right?
You know what? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's where the machine is. That we're all plugged into. Okay?
The Hadron Collider?
No.
Geneva?
Oh,
Man. You can start talking about Matrix, man. And if that's the case, if we really are in the Matrix, that's where it's at. It's at Antarctica. The
I
freaking
could see that.
server for it. The server for the entire
It's
fake
cold enough to
universe.
keep your body in
but then
like
I
a
don't.
cryostasis.
Okay, if it is a Matrix-like situation, like a simulated world, there'd be no point to Antarctica because that's just a lot of bit space being taken for nothing.
No. You gotta keep the servers cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
You gotta be in a cryostasis state. So Antarctica would be cold enough to keep you in a cryostasis.
I don't think that's not very logical.
This is why you people aren't the tech people. You can't write
man.
cold into your computer and expect it just to cool down, guys.
Why not?
I don't know. Wait a couple of years, maybe. I'm just saying.
So I reckon we got to keep our eyes on Antarctica and see what else comes out of it.
Yeah, there are too many weird things that come out of there for there not to be something there.
Now, switching gears to is Atlantis there? No, I don't buy into that one. Atlantis isn't here. Atlantis went straight up.
You really think so?
I do.
Huh.
100%.
Weird. Okay.
Atlantis was a craft. It didn't sink. It went up. It was a craft that went up.
That's a good theory.
And
but
with it.
I kind of like to believe the one. There's a plane there in southern Spain. It's right on the coast, right off the Gibraltar. That obviously something came through a tsunami and just covered it all.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge nature preserve. You can't dig there.
Yeah,
but
you aren't allowed to do
satellite
that.
photos, they show concentric circles around this area, and they know there's something down there, but no one's allowed to dig.
Oh.
And as far as all the places, like it's in the Atlantic, powerful thing. It describes all the areas around it. Everything kind of matches up for that one area. It's a huge nature preserve right on the coast of southern Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it matches up to all the historical documents from, what was it, Plato?
Yes.
Yeah, Plato.
That's called Africa.
No, I've been there. I don't want to go back to Africa.
That's a nature reserve just south of Spain.
Oh, God. No, but seriously, I watched this whole thing on Atlantis and where it might be, and that honestly is the best possibility if it really was a city that sank.
Mm-hmm.
For the location of it is off of Spain.
So if you fly over that area, do your instruments start going winky?
It's a no-fly zone.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a huge nature preserve.
No.
You can't drive through it. You can't dig in the ground.
Yep.
But they've got satellite views of it, and there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's off the coast of Spain.
Yeah.
No, not off the coast. It's on the coast of Spain. It's part of the actual... But they figured, at one time it could have been like a huge bay or a lagoon or whatever, and they had the city built there. It's not an island that sunk. It was a coastal city that was covered with a tsunami.
Yeah, it's like Andalusia.
Which
Andalusia,
if you're someone that's living 8,000 years ago and all the water comes in and wipes out a city, you say it disappeared beneath the waves, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean it was an island.
So here's for our listeners in Spain, because we do have a listener population from Spain. If you know anything about that, send us a message. By all means.
Get in the Spreaker chat room and let us know.
I'll talk to the one guy over there that I have on the conspiracy clan that lives over there.
Yeah, you do. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, see what you can find out about that for us, Bear.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, we can talk about it next week.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Bring it up on Roundtable.
For sure.
So that's what we need. We need all of the listeners, anybody in Spain that knows this area. I can't think of the name of it, but maybe we can do some research. And it's actually really fascinating, all the stuff they're finding out there that they can.
Mm-hmm.
Just from walking around, but...
How many crashed UFO reports do we have from Spain, Barry?
I don't know. I'll have to look into that and see, because we do get a report from that. Let me see if I have the last report. Hold on just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's always afraid of the UFOs because their weaponry is so much greater than ours, and they can just wipe us out in a blink. These guys can't even fly their spaceships over our planet without crashing. I'm thinking maybe they're not that technically, they crash a lot.
It depends on the race.
Well, it depends on what we're using to
make them
beam them down also.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Crash.
I think there is some technology that has been hidden from us that does allow that. So it's
Okay,
been.
Tesla's
so it
death
seems to
beam
be.
didn't just disappear into nothingness.
No.
Same thing with
Right.
the Alexandria lighthouse that had the same technology. How many thousands of years ago?
Right.
I'm just saying.
That was something else I saw. I saw an article, and I don't know if probably up Joe's alley or Arnold's, something about a test coming up next week of a weapon that is going to be tested by the U.S. government. That is a wide beam laser.
I've heard some rumors about that.
That's on a plane. I saw something on it. I don't know where it is. I'm still looking for that. I'm trying to get to my.
That's good. That's going to coincide perfectly with our April 4th. Are you prepared for an alien invasion show? Cool.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Well, they were trying to develop for years a laser that's based on a plane that they could use to try to shoot down incoming missiles. Mm-hmm. They've been working on that for years, and who knows? Maybe they've perfected it.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't be something you'd want to tell everybody, right?
Right.
Well, there's a lot they don't tell everybody.
Well, the U.S. just did that anti-drone laser weapons. They did anti-drone laser weapon testing, what was that, 3-4 weeks ago?
Seriously?
I think the anti-drone laser weapons isn't so much a laser beam hitting the drone. It's disrupting communication between the drone and whoever's controlling it.
That's all you have to do. I mean, it doesn't take a lot.
Unless
to
you make them
disrupt the drone.
autonomous, but then you make the drones autonomous and you end up with, Terminator.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry I can't pull up that information. I think I accidentally deleted the last report that comes in from how many landings and everything else. But it's quite interesting. Throughout the country, we'll show, MUFON puts out a report from the director, and it shows each state, also each country, of how many sightings and everything else are in each area. And at the
those
bottom
are just the ones that are reported.
Yeah, those are just the ones that are reported.
And I would say, honestly, only about 10% of reports are actually reported.
Mm-hmm. And then some of them are, it's interesting because at the bottom of it, it will say, like, there was 13 crashes out of all the reports that month. And so many alien beings were seen and this stuff. So it's pretty intense, but I just had it, and I don't know what file I put it in, so I can't find it right at the top of my head, so I apologize.
I know here locally we've had a lot of locals that have been witnessing Elon Musk's Starlink.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they just sent one up the other day.
Yeah. And, that's an easy mistake of thinking you're seeing UFOs, because there's like 9... actually more than that, a series of lights that are all in unison.
Oh, there'll be like 60 they release.
Yeah, something. Anyway,
I've seen them go over here, and you can watch them in a nice little line going across. They slowly spread out, but still, between the Starlink things and people flying drones around, UFO reports are getting kind of sketchy.
Mm-hmm. And with that, it's time for our last break. And when we come back, we will talk for the last hour Antarctica and start a wrap-up. So stay tuned.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Break. You're going down.
S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to S4 for our last hour tonight. This last hour we are wrapping up. So we're talking about laser technology. We've been using lasers for quite a few years because, I mean, when you're talking warthogs, when you're talking other missile systems, we've had soldiers on the ground using laser to paint a target. So all you do is drop the missile. It'll actually fly around in the air until it locks onto the laser target and then shoot down and boom.
Laser targeting
I love the warthog.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Nothing like it. When you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning in Iraq and you hear the warthogs taking off every morning. Yeah, nothing like that feeling. Huh?
It's a screamer.
Yep. And the sound of the gun sounds like a bird.
Ripping Velcro.
Yep. It's my favorite plane. It has been for many years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's all kinds of different types of weapons and weapon testing and different types of chemicals and everything else that we've been testing for years. We've been testing them for years.
And I'd be willing to bet you could trace that testing right back to paperclip.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can even trace it back further than that. I mean, we've been experimenting since we knew what metal was.
We've been experimenting with weapon systems since the first caveman picked up a rock.
Right?
True. And the pointy stick.
And every single time, all we're trying to do is make it better, stronger, faster. I mean, eventually we're going to get to the point where what are you going to do? How can you go on from here? How can you make it better from here?
You move to another planet and start over. Mars looks
and
good.
they kill everybody there.
Right. I kind of compare, and it's going to sound weird, but Antarctica to the dark side of the moon. We're not allowed to go to Antarctica.
It is.
And we aren't allowed, we were told very specifically back in 1969, you don't look at the dark side of the moon.
Well, that's where the Chinese landed.
Yeah.
No, they did. They're the only ones that have.
I just sent some pictures to you. I don't know if you guys got them or not. So take a look at those.
Yeah, got them.
Yeah, those were taken in Antarctica. I don't know if you want to share the chat room or not.
Hey, yeah, so that does look like a Moa Moa.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. In diameter.
Something landed.
Yeah, something definitely landed.
But who's to say we traced and tracked the Moa Moa, but if that is their style of craft, that could be another one that we didn't.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I think they tracked a Moa Moa out of the system, but who's to say it was the only one?
Well, who's to say we weren't supposed to...
The only reason a Moa Moa got famous is because a private astronomer found it.
Right, exactly.
And maybe that's the one we were supposed to see.
And maybe that's the one
Look
that
at my
they
left
say,
hand, but don't pay any attention to what my right hand's doing.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one that we were supposed to see. And maybe the whole story of it going back out into space or wherever, so it comes back, is all made up. We just can't just look at today's stuff going on. One thing is for sure, it just shows you that you can't trust a damn thing that you see anywhere anymore. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but it's just like going, you really have to look at it hard anymore. You've got to do so much more research, and it's hard to find the research to validate it or not.
Right.
Yeah, it's always been a trust 10% of what you hear and 5% of what you see.
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh, and that's the trick, is validating the research you do.
Mm-hmm.
And validating the sources.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with something like Antarctica,
right,
you're never... as a person of just a random person anywhere, you're never going to be able to validate that. Because you're never going to get access to that. Unless
that's why I can't wait for the 10,000 Pentagon files to come out.
Right.
Right. Well, it's just like the CIA files and everything else we see. You've got to find them, and then you got to go through them one by one. And there's a bunch of crapola and all that stuff. You know, yeah, they release them, but it's not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, but how much
but, you know,
of
it's
that
funny.
in itself is just freaking propaganda, and that's
Right.
just
And that's the other thing. They're going to release 10,000 files, but there's 50,000 more files that they're not going to.
Either that, or they're going to release 10,000 files, and
Would they do that?
9,999 of them are going to be false trails.
Right.
I mean, honestly, we have no.
But remember, there's one. You know, we had McKinnon as a hacker that said that he had found some things in the UK and is not allowed here in the United States. And then you've got Snowden, and the stuff that Snowden says talks about some of the stuff that he's released talks about a space program, talks about the weird stuff.
You talk about off-world officers?
Exactly. And so you kind of go,
Right. I'm just saying, as an average, everyday person, you're never going to be able to really 100% say that this is this and that is that. It's all going to be best guesses, you know?
Right. Until it actually happens, where you actually...
Where it's in your face, happening in your yard, yeah.
Right. You know, and at that point, then you can say, wow.
This was true, right?
Yeah. But you also have to have it within, you have to have, it would be much better if it happened with 1,500 witnesses.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You know.
And that's what makes a conspiracy not a conspiracy anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's just like 9/11 was a conspiracy until the documentation started coming out that it was an inside job. And it's documented now that the government itself absolutely knew. And allowed it to happen.
I mean, it was a false flag, and it was done for other reasons. And
if they'll do that, what won't they do?
That's right.
Absolutely.
And, well, you know, that's like going. I mean,
there's people saying COVID's a big conspiracy.
Yeah, I think that
we're nothing but a number.
The entire Earth is just one big...
Wow.
It is. It honestly is. It's one big social experiment. Like, if you really think about it, you're picking out different sets of people, you're doing different experiments, you're doing different things all over the place, and seeing what happens. What's going to happen?
It was a social experiment. It is now an anti-social experiment.
Right.
That has changed in the last few years.
Yeah, so let's see what happens if this happens. Let's see what happens if that happens. Let's throw some freaking mutant goddamn killer wasp or some shit in there and see what happens.
And
let's take over Portland.
Why?
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants Portland. Come on.
Yeah, nobody wants Portland. That's why they're doing all the social experiments there. What happens if a bunch of guys just burn the place down?
Yeah.
Hey, look, nobody cares. No, I'm sorry.
Nobody cares.
And we love our listeners in Portland. Nothing against you.
No.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
Love Portland. I love Voodoo Donuts.
Yeah, you know what's weird is, and I don't mean to get off topic, but I got to say that, you know, I'm seeing some reports that you don't see on media at all, but talking about attacks on the West Coast by a lot of people doing and just breaking stuff, rioting going on, and everything else. Is that actually happening out there?
We don't know.
Not here.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know what is information, what's disinformation, and what you're supposed to believe and what you're not.
Yeah.
There's so many things going on right now. There's so many things that have been going on since the beginning of time that you just don't know.
I do know that when they took over the few streets in Seattle, that was real.
Right.
It's happening in Olympia every so often.
Yeah.
Well, they set up an autonomous zone in Minneapolis. The cops can't even go there.
Yeah, when one of our friends, actually, her office was on one of those streets, and she wasn't allowed in.
Oh yeah, and I drove through downtown Seattle here a few months back, and everything was boarded up. All the stores were boarded, all the buildings were boarded up. So yes, that happened, but that was months ago. That was last year. But is anything happening right now? Absolutely not here. There are shootings going on. There are
Bellingham.
Huh?
Bellingham still has protests going on that are turning violent.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying is you don't know unless
Well,
you're
like I said, Minneapolis they have a no-go autonomous zone right now.
Really?
Yeah.
No one's allowed in or out. It's the George Floyd Memorial Autonomous Zone.
Okay.
Going on right now. You don't hear that on the news, though.
No.
Well, what I heard was something they were celebrating the anniversary of the lady who got shot in Louisville by police.
Brianna.
Yeah. Right. And I haven't heard anything going on in Louisville. But what's bizarre is that it says it's happening, they're doing it on the West Coast. So, which makes it just seem like, what the heck is going on out there?
It's the internet. You start rioting in one city, everybody in all the other cities say, hey, let's go riot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brianna, Izzy's in the chat room now. She says Brianna Taylor.
Yeah.
Hi, Izzy. We talked about the grass.
Yeah, elevators and grass in Antarctica. Yeah. And it's going to open up and Lucifer's going to come out.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it's smoke and mirrors. You get stuff like you tell everybody, hey, look over here.
Right.
This city's rioting. That city's burning down. These people are doing this. And nobody's looking anywhere else.
That's why I don't watch media.
Right.
I always call it the Houdini effect. Like, honestly, like, you watch him, you're like, how did he do that? It's simple, but, hey, look over here. Well, I'm doing this over there.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, if Satan was going to come through Antarctica, wouldn't the Satanists be there, waiting?
I would think, huh? Yeah.
Wouldn't all the ice melt?
Global warming!
That's what crossed my mind, too. If hell was under Antarctica, there wouldn't be any ice.
It froze over!
No, it didn't. Hell froze over? Oh, God. And pigs are flying, too, right?
We've been talking about hell freezing over since the beginning of time. It happened. We moved on.
Oh, and that's why there's volcanoes under the ice.
Ragnarok, man. Ragnarok.
Barry, have there been any MUFON reports of flying pigs?
Yes, there has been.
Oh, that's why the meat fell over Kentucky in the 1800s.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Because the pigs were flying.
No, not yet. But there are some reports coming. There are some very strange. We've been getting a few reports here in Kentucky, and strange lights have been seen in several areas throughout the whole country, and they all look the same. So now, when you look at some of these cases, you have to really looking at other areas to see what else is near you in other states that may be having the same type of situation that is flying by or whatever, So you're trying to coordinate some of the same cases.
Hey,
There's something weird happening in Kentucky. It's like ground central for everything weird.
Yeah.
That's why Barry's there.
That's exactly said. It's all my fault. Gosh dang it.
Has anybody heard anything else about a monolith popping up randomly nowhere? Or is that over?
What's that?
The monolith.
That fad's over.
Okay.
You know what I wonder about that is, what if it was one of the monoliths was real?
And all the rest of
All
them
of a
were
sudden
just
it said,
cover-ups?
oh my God, let's just put up a bunch of monoliths everywhere and say, it's a fad and it'll go away. And no one will pay attention to it.
Well, they did it to crop
It's just like that
circles, and it
right-hand,
worked.
left-hand thing again.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
They
the
did it to
monoliths
crop circles, so why not monoliths?
Yeah, well, I think that 2001 Space Odyssey monolith may be in Antarctica.
It's possible.
Who knows?
I bet there's a lot of very interesting stuff under that ice.
So speaking of that, the giant hole down there in Antarctica, I was looking up stuff. It says there's, due to warmer, saltier water that comes up through the hole and pushes up from the ocean's current, and then once it reaches the top, it goes back down, melts the ice as it's doing that, and then falls back down, gets reheated, and does the same thing. Wouldn't you think that hole doing that would be getting bigger, or more things happening?
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Honestly, look at Old Faithful. Okay, Old Faithful does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That hole didn't get any bigger as time went on. It's the same
It's
size.
not
It's the
ice,
same-
though.
Yeah.
Yes, but as it's going back down, it's still freezing in its original place. So it might be getting bigger as it expands and goes out, but it's not going to be melting everything around it.
It might. You don't know.
But that
Well,
something.
suppose
below
there is
that
a
has to
frozen
be pushed.
alien down there, and this water comes out and it brings it back to life.
Okay, and then it freezes as it goes back down, so this poor alien is just stuck in a whole huge cycle
Going
of
up and down.
deep freeze and
Mm-hmm.
unfreeze.
He's in the elevator.
No,
That's what it is.
That's exactly right. He's in the elevator.
let's
Now we know.
admit it. He's dead. Like,
That poor alien. Yeah. Okay. You get shot out and you're like, I can freeze. Okay.
Well, and that's what's amazing, because you could actually, when I watched that one documentary on
Space
the recent
elevators.
expedition that was going in, you actually could see the wave of ocean that was freezing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so cold there.
Right.
It was crazy. And the captain there was actually saying, he was worried if they didn't go fast enough, they would be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
That was the risk of his particular vessel, because it happened all the time.
Right.
Vessels would go through there, and if they didn't time it right, or if they didn't go through the weakest patch, they risked their entire crew and losing their boat. But it was crazy watching. You could actually, see how the water was solidifying.
Right. Interesting.
Yep.
What if it's just a giant volcano?
Antarctica, they would have screwed.
Yeah, what if it's straight up like Yellowstone, but this thing froze over?
Yeah, Yellowstone's the one you got to worry about.
Mm-hmm. It's not frozen.
That's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
So if Yellowstone blows, what's going to happen to Antarctica?
It won't matter.
Well, not for us.
It'll probably be the only safe place.
Honestly. There's
Right?
going to be 4 scientists that are like, we made it! That's what's going to happen. Okay, I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
if Yellowstone blows, who cares? Because nobody exists anymore. This isn't going to be a
Except for the
world
ones in
ender,
Antarctica.
man. Or a species ender, at least.
Mm-hmm. So, what do we think about the whole flat Earth theory? Because that plays into Antarctica. That's where the ice wall's
Okay, whoa,
supposed
whoa,
to be.
whoa, whoa, whoa. It's not flat Earth anymore, don't you know? It's flat universe.
Really?
Yep, now it's flat
pray
universe.
tell! Please
Okay.
explain this one.
No, quite seriously. They believe that the universe itself is actually like a thin, flat layer, and they're sitting multiple on top of each other, just like stacks of paper. And that's where that multiverse theory comes in.
So how come the cats haven't knocked that one over yet?
So, so yeah, it's not flat Earth anymore. It's flat universe.
A flat universe.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about that
I have to
one,
go pull my fingernails out.
Yeah, they moved on because they realized the Earth wasn't flat, but the universe still could be.
Well, when you use 4th grade science to explain flat Earth by pouring a cup of water on a plate, that one still sticks in my head.
Well,
I'm
if
like,
you
what the
spin
hell?
that thing, Okay, now if you spin that thing fast enough, that water's staying there. That's just like the.
If we're on the
lakes and
surface of a
oceans, man.
spinning ball, wouldn't we all just fly off?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yep.
Wait until it starts bouncing, and then we got an issue.
Well, when you throw a pointy stick, it actually goes up in the air. It doesn't go straight.
Yeah, that's because it's spinning so fast.
Right.
It's spinning so fast, it's causing its own gravity.
So, flat universe.
Yes, flat universe. No, it is a huge theory that we are actually living on flattened membranes, and that is what causes multiverse theory and everything else. So, yeah, there is a flat universe theory.
That is literally the second dimension. That means the entire world is two-dimensional.
Oh.
No, that means we're three-dimensional, and the entire second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th universe that's lined up and squishing on each other is fourth-dimensional.
That is just fucking stupid.
Hey, but I am telling you, that is the whole concept. One of the
I'm going to have to agree with Cole.
So here's the deal.
theory.
Oh, no, that's
If
three
you
of us
listen to
now.
our show, and you believe in flat universe, please stop. You're not the people Eric was talking about when he said we like you. Just turn it off. Go to bed.
Okay, so just as awkwardly, there is also the bubble universe theory. Where
Oh God! What show is it that uses our show for laughing?
where we
You just made their
are
night.
continuously creating new soap bubbles in the cosmic world. So that every single universe and every single possibility of universe is just another bubble in the fabric of space, time, and whatever else.
The bubble boy.
I mean, honestly, and this is.
So it's like a bunch of grapes?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
They put it down as it's like the holes in a cheese. Okay? And quite literally, there are millions of people. This is the entire concept of like your string theories and stuff and your multi-universe theories is that, that's how it is.
QAnon.
This is what happens when you combine scientists and legalized drugs.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm just saying that we didn't get smarter with time. We just made the whole concept on a bigger scale. This is all we did. We didn't say, oh my God, there's one planet here and there's another planet here. We said, oh my God, there's one universe here and there's another universe here. So now we're just making it bigger and bigger and smaller at the same time.
Cole's gonna have nightmares tonight.
I hope not. Flat earthers are going to come get me.
No. Flat universes.
Black-eyed children, if you are listening.
No.
Of a flat earther. Go get him.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
I'm looking at an article that was just said that they found dinosaurs in 2016 in Antarctica.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, it used to be a tropical climate there.
Right. That's what
It was very lush. There was lots of vegetation. It wasn't sitting where it is now.
Yes.
How did they get that far
It's
down?
moved.
What?
Yeah, well, it's like going.
Everything's moving.
So, and that's the thing too. There's actually one article I was reading that the weight of the ice, because there's so much ice over it now, the weight of the ice is actually pushing that continent down farther and farther.
Yeah, it's
That's
funny.
It's entirely possible. You know, it doesn't snow in Antarctica.
It's probably too cold.
It ices.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have the atmosphere for
And
it.
they describe it actually as a desert.
It's a tundra.
It is.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
big old
It's a
tundra.
snow desert, basically.
Yep.
Or an ice desert.
It's a desert because it doesn't get any rain or snow.
Right.
It's too cold to do either. It's the old theory that when you lived up north, it was like going, "Oh, it's too cold to snow." You know. But this article says these recent discoveries assist experts to understand better exactly that Antarctica was like a prehistoric globe.
Mm-hmm. Its own ecosystem.
Well, at one point, all the land masses were together. It's called Pangea.
Yeah.
And they all broke up, and they're slowly moving apart. Even today, things are still moving.
Yeah. Due to
Plate tectonics.
Tectonics, yes. Exactly. Well, and we got to think about it on this scale, too, is the further away the moon moves, because it's moving, too, and it's moving away from us every year, the different pull that's going to have on us, the different gravity.
It's going to be a lack of a pull, because the farther away it goes, the less of a pull it's got.
Well, the less of the... Okay, so we're in a spin right now.
Right.
And as the moon moves away, it slowly moves our spin a little bit. Mm-hmm. So as time goes on and that moon decides to disappear... I mean, this is millions of years, billions of years from now. Mm-hmm. But it's going to eventually happen. I mean...
Well, the Earth wobbles. And that's why we get our seasons.
Right.
But if we didn't have the calming effect of the moon pulling on us, it would wobble all over the place.
Yeah, and we would be spinning.
You'd have winter one day, hot summer the next.
But have you ever listened to this?
We wouldn't be here if there wasn't a moon.
No.
Have you ever listened to your scanner on a full moon, Joe?
Yes, I have.
Oh, man.
Ain't that crazy?
It gets
tidal
wild.
Pull.
Huh?
Well, so when the moon goes around, it does a tidal pull. That's what causes our high tides, our low tides, everything like that.
Right.
So there's a lot of people that believe because when the moon is full, we are also made of like 90% water.
Right.
So it has a pulling effect on us as well.
And that makes sense.
No, that's not. You're mixing two things there. The moon is full is just because the sun is shining on it to where we can see it. It's not pulling any more or any less. I think what it is that when the moon is full, it's light enough out that people can go out and do things. Mm-hmm. We're basically hairless monkeys that, evolved in caves.
No, basically
when it was
are.
really, really dark out, we're afraid of the dark and we don't want to go out and do things. But when the moon is full, you can see things, you can go out and do things.
Right.
Yep.
It's a genetic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Genetic memory.
Could be.
And
That's an interesting theory. Well, I remember one time watching the History Channel, and they had those things, terrible things that could happen to Earth and catastrophic things. And I remember one of the shows said that let the moon leave our orbit, and we would be spinning so fast that it actually slows the Earth's wobble down and the spin, and because it pulls on us, and we would be thrown off of Earth in about 2 seconds.
Absolutely.
That'd be awful.
It's a stabilizing force.
Yeah.
Right.
Without the moon there, we would be, like I said, you'd have one day it'd be snowing and you'd be in 6-foot snowdrifts. The next day it'd be 120 degrees.
We'd be screwed.
Yep. If you could hang on long enough.
Well, we'd probably still have gravity.
Actually, re-give me those numbers for a second. What did you just say about the weather?
We would be really cold, then really hot, and then we'd die.
So, that's our weather now.
Like Kentucky weather, yeah.
Oh,
We're going through that in Kentucky right now.
Maybe that's just the world preparing us.
Yes, could be.
For the day the moon leaves.
For Mars.
Well, there's a theory that originally the moon wasn't there, and that aliens brought it in and placed it in orbit to stabilize the planet so that the hairless monkeys would have something to do. Part of the experiment.
We'd all gawk at it.
It stabilized the environment. Think of it as geoengineering.
Oh, my mom fully believes that the moon is fake. and that it's a base. She actually does. She does. She talks
Yeah,
to me
but your
about
mom's
this all the
old
time.
and nuts. We've talked about this.
I just think it's
know,
a
Eric,
giant
you
geode
know-
floating in space.
There's only one way that we're going to really be able to find out, since you've been kind of like the devil's advocate tonight on Antarctica.
Right.
I think that we need to have Izzy write a letter to the United Nations saying that S-4 wants to do a scientific experiment out there, and we need to go there.
And do a live show.
Yep.
Exactly, live from Antarctica.
Nope.
Hey,
I'll go.
we need funding
I'll
so we
go.
can get some mobiles.
Oh God, no! It's snowmobile. You're on ice, man. You're on a sheet of ice.
Oh.
What
You're
better
just
to
all
have?
over
Snow?
the place.
Unless one of you knows how to talk Penguin and convince him to freaking give us their Wi-Fi password, we ain't doing a live show from there, guys.
Right, true. True. Oh, we'll just talk to Elon Musk and tell him we need some of his satellites to fly over Antarctica.
Hell no! If we go to Antarctica, we're doing a dead show from there. It ain't gonna be live. None of us are living through that.
A dead show.
God.
Okay, so Izzy says, you raise the money, she'll write the letter.
We just
All right.
need another couple stimulus checks. We're
How
good.
much the letters cost?
Oh, the
we need
cost
to-
of postage.
There's the
these
cost of the
days.
funding to get to Antarctica and do our expedition there.
Well, that's when you call Elon Musk and Bill Gates and say, hey, we're going on an expedition.
To Antarctica.
Want to donate?
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
God,
Plus, Joe, the price of a stamp here in Washington is just insane.
I know.
Tell
right?
I just think
$300,000 for a stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going that way.
I just think we got to hold off donations. You got to keep the donation up for S4 for another month, and put down, say, we're going to Antarctica. Please help.
Right? Well, all the ufologists will be on board, and all the paranormal investigators will be on board, and some of the scientists will be on board.
Then they can get on board that ship because I ain't touching it. Okay?
And I could look up the particular vessel that went on the scientific expedition on the documentary, and he said he'd go back.
Yeah.
There we go. We got the boat.
Okay, I'm telling you, this would
Yeah,
be
we got-
Titanic 2 in the making. We would just
All we'd have to do is be able to tell Carla that there's a rake there.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, there's an ice rake.
Ooh, money
Ice
raised.
Yeah, you'd never
Let's
see him
do
in the
this.
snow.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And let's see. Then we'll have to find the tunnel that goes down into the alien base. And do we have the right weapons?
Okay, whoa.
Oh, we need some weapons.
Pointy sticks.
Yeah.
Pointy sticks don't freeze.
We need better pointy sticks.
Oh, God. So,
Railgun?
Yeah, we need a railgun.
then
There we go.
it's not the reptilians that live in Antarctica. Because... I mean, they would like.
Gonna make me say it? Gonna make me say it?
Say it, Cole. Say it.
So, Sherry, you brought up a little while ago that there might be an Antarctic rest stop.
An alien rest stop.
Alien rest stop.
Yep.
So,
So,
does that make the reptilians the lot lizards? And if you don't know what a lot lizard is, I'm not saying it. You look it up.
Oh my God.
oh,
Oh my gosh.
Everybody
Enemy
knows the
said-
reptiles don't like the cold.
that's why they're under the ice.
That's why they
Well, no,
take
that's
the
why they're
form-
lot lizards.
No, that's why they
Stay
take the,
warm.
They can take the form of anything, right? That's why there are so many penguins there.
Oh, you're gonna burst cold bubble? No, penguins are not reptilians in shape-shifting form.
Are we sure?
Yes.
They have pretty big eyes.
Dinky
and
little
they're
things.
beaks.
They do not have big eyes.
Eat a lot of fish. What?
Their eyes are smaller than a grape. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, you tried to steal one.
Alec.
Okay, so a little backstory here for you guys quick.
You tried to steal a penguin.
The
Yeah,
world's
you did.
largest mall in, well, it used to be, in Edmonton. It's called West Edmonton Mall. They actually have an area where they do a sea, like a SeaWorld,
Aquarium.
yeah, SeaWorld show type thing. And they do have an area with penguins.
Penguins.
The thing is, they only made the barrier for those penguins 4 feet tall. Well, I am 6 feet tall. I grabbed a baby penguin and picked it up just to see what he's like. And I, for a while, was banned from West Edmonton Mall.
If we're trying to steal a penguin.
I wasn't trying to steal him. We were
too.
going to go party on Bourbon
The
Street.
penguins.
And Izzy says S4 Radio does not endorse the theft or attempted theft of penguins.
Your kids do, Izzy.
Hey, if you think about it, there's an interesting coincidence there.
What's that?
Everybody thinks that it's a possibility that Antarctica is an alien base, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only place you find penguins, Antarctica.
I'll show you.
Think
I just
about it.
told you they're at West Edmonton Mall.
Oh, God.
Those are imported penguins.
What we're saying is that alien beings that are in Antarctica are actually penguins.
Well, no, they're just assuming the form of penguins.
Maybe that's their pets.
But then
Or their
isn't
food
there
source.
real penguins?
Okay, so this is like the chupacabra of Antarctica?
Could
They
be.
don't sound
Well,
like-
I did. As I told you at the beginning of the show, I did see something about the most dangerous beast in prehistoric times. The most heavy predator was a
Giant penguin.
giant penguins.
See? They're savage.
They are savage.
Mm-hmm.
Prehistoric penguins. Gigantic penguins.
Yes, Izzy, we are suggesting now that penguins are aliens and they lay in the grass.
On the elevator.
I'm totally trying to trigger Izzy here right now. Let me know if it's working.
I mean, what else could survive that kind of temperature while walking with those little waddly legs and an egg? They must be aliens.
Huh?
Nothing. Never mind.
Oh, God.
Oh.
So maybe Antarctica is where they moved Area 51 to.
Area 52?
Possible.
Okay, so that was kind of my question is because the U.S. runs Area 51, right?
Right?
Like, we all have talked about the Nazis having bases in Antarctica at that time. Like, in 1941, they were trying to get, or that area of time, they were trying to get a base on Antarctica.
They couldn't get to it.
Weren't we? Too? Like, wouldn't it make sense that we were too?
With
And
that-
did we
with-
succeed?
Yeah.
With Admiral Byrd.
Bird is the word.
Right.
But did we succeed in that? You're like you said, that's where they moved everything there.
It's possible.
I don't think we succeeded. I actually don't think. I think some of the Nazis had a pretty big loss there. Also,
I think
possible,
there's a lot of
unless they had a
frozen
relationship
people.
already with these aliens from earlier times, what we don't know about yet.
I heard it didn't go well for them down there.
It did not go well with them because they lost U-boats. They lost all kinds of stuff as they went down there. It was.
But you talking about the Admiral Byrd's expedition, or are you talking about the Nazis?
Nazis.
Because
The
Nazis.
from what I
The
understand,
Nazis
the Nazis
expedition.
lost most of their fleet due to the ice packs.
Well, and
Yeah.
joining the
That's what we're told.
That's
Right.
exactly.
The devil's
That's
advocacy
exactly
point.
it.
joining
Huh?
the devil's advocate's point, if they were actually going for whale blubber, with their geographical location, there are much easier places to get it
Right.
in the Arctic.
Mm-hmm.
They were going specifically for Arctic blubber.
So, and that's playing the other side of that. That is where the Nazi base idea, for them to want to have one there, the whale blubber story is kind of
Sketchy.
yeah, because
Very sketchy.
Right.
It's a
that is a
cover
long
story.
way to go
Just for whale blubber.
blubber.
Yeah.
Especially with how many
Yeah.
whales there are in the northern seas.
Right.
Friend,
Now, if they
it
would have
does-
said penguin blubber, I could go for that. But,
right?
But they
You know,
didn't
no.
say that. They said whale blubber.
They were
They
all
needed the
looking
oil.
for the fountain of youth. We know it. They figured it was over there.
Am I the only one that wants to get a penguin now?
Cole's wanted a
Cole does
penguin
too.
for years. I won't let him keep it because he wouldn't change the cage.
He could ride the raptor.
Actually, Cole's moved away from the penguin and gone to the raptor.
No, that doesn't mean I moved away from the penguin. I
We
would
could
never
get a
do that to them.
prehistoric ping raptor. I mean, honestly.
Half penguin, half
Half
A
raptor.
ping
half
raptor.
Yeah.
Ooh,
A raptor in a tux.
right?
Hell yeah, let's get one of those.
So, hey, Barry, so what's going on Into the Fire this week?
I haven't a clue. I think we're going to interview Sherry. She's we'll have her
Hi,
on
Sherry.
the show.
Oh, God.
Hey, Sherry.
No, I've had a guest cancel on me, and I'm looking for another guest. So, and we had another thing planned, but it's going to have to be pre-recorded. So,
Gotcha.
to be able to do it live, I'm going to have to do something different. So, we'll be working on that in the next few days. So, I appreciate you asking, but it will still be on Tuesday night and Bear House TV, and we'll also be doing the live on Friday with the Conspiracy Clan.
Right. So what's your topic on the Conspiracy Clan this week?
Yeah.
That's interesting because as it gets deeper and deeper, I would love to do some on the UFOs because it's getting pretty hairy, and I'd like to get away from the political stuff and Corona. But unfortunately, some of the stuff that keeps on coming out on Corona and the things we start hearing about, it's just mind-boggling, you know. So we're just going to get the current news out. I think we'll talk about that aircraft and some of the new things that the military says we have. We may find out more about. That'd be an interesting show, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
Okay, I'll probably be jumping into your chat room if I'm home.
I love it. I love it.
So,
Thank you.
for sure. And
We need
again,
to have.
next week, be thinking of your questions for Roundtable and for our listening audience. As always, throw your questions for Roundtable into it.
It's an oval.
It's not round, it's flat.
Okay, the
Jesus
flat
Christ, quit with
table.
that crap.
Yes, we'll go with flat table. Yeah.
Flat Earth table.
Oh, no. We're not going that deep.
Yeah.
A flat table.
Yeah.
We'll be a flat table now.
I'm looking forward to the round table. That's always good. Those are always good shows.
We bounce from topic to topic to topic. It's always, you never know what you're going to get.
Oh, it's going to be
It's like
fun.
a box of chocolates.
I got questions.
Still fun.
So many questions.
Oh, God.
I'm already scared.
You should be.
Yes, I should.
If a rake
yes.
falls in a cave and no one's around, does it still make a noise?
So, also for listeners, if you want to see an interesting horror movie about black-eyed children, God, what was the name of it?
They Come Knocking.
They Come Knocking. Yeah.
Okay, honestly,
I'll
it was
make
a terrible movie, but if you
It's
want
a
to see
terrible
one,
movie,
then
but it's
go ahead.
entertaining at best. Just, you won't like the ending. The ending is stupid. I'll leave it at that. But it does have some, when it comes to the black-eyed children legends, it is somewhat accurate, and it leaves an interesting theory in there. It's on Hulu. You can find it on Hulu.
Yeah, speaking of TV shows and stuff, there's a new one on I've been watching called Debris.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's about we detect an alien spaceship in space that's been blown apart, and pieces of it are falling to Earth and causing all these weird things. They're kind of trying to make it like an X-Files or a
Right.
Fringe show. Not sure if it's good yet. There've only been 2 episodes on that I've seen. So
Where's it at?
it's on, I believe it's NBC, one of those. It's one of the main stations.
One of the mainstream.
It's called Debris.
I'll look for it.
Oh, hey, and if you want to watch a funny show about an alien, honestly, Resident
I
Alien
haven't
is
watched it yet.
hilarious.
Absolutely,
You should go
my
check
favorite
it
show
out.
right there.
Oh
Yeah,
my god. It made me laugh
it
so
is
hard.
hilarious.
On it.
It is hilarious.
Just do me a favor. Stay away from paranormal TV. The shows we're talking about, they're great, they're funny, they're entertainment, but paranormal TV.
But I really like Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo's great. The Winchester brothers are great. Until they
Until season 3.
Until season 3. After it went to season 3, and they became, I don't know how many times they died, and became demons, and yada, yada, yada. Yeah.
Only a few.
Yeah. But yeah, Winchester brothers are great. But again, we have a roundtable next week, and then we're going to talk about aliens. The alien invasion.
Yes.
I think.
The alien invasion.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
No, actually, we're talking about the hub. Well, you guys.
Oh yeah, you're doing the hub on the 28th.
I forgot about the hub.
Yep.
All right.
We're doing the hub investigation on the 27th. We're going to have the Northwest Paranormal Research Group on the show with us because they're actually doing the investigation with us. And so we'll discuss that. The hub is it's got an interesting history. There's a lot of known spirits that actually occupy the hub amongst the rest of concrete. Because there's like an underground passage that goes between stores that these spirits go through.
Are you getting the access to the underground passage also?
I believe it's in the basement. We'll see what we can do, actually.
No, excellent.
Are you going to be talking about the investigation in the show, or is the investigation going to be going on during the show?
No.
The investigation's Saturday night, so we will talk about it, and I will... we have discovered that I absolutely suck at video editing, so I will download the video to the Facebook, the Forest Moon Paranormal Group, as well as the S-4 page. You guys can check it out there. It's the Saturday night after we're done. So late Sunday, early Sunday morning. You'll be able to check that out, and then we'll discuss it. But it will be raw video.
Yeah, it's not going to be edited. It's going to be straight raw.
Because I can't even make a title for this. So.
But Eric told me to stay away from paranormal shows.
It's not a show.
It's not a show. It's that's a big.
It's not a gang. It's a club.
Right. Absolutely.
That entire video, I'm going to call you Scully.
Okay. The truth is out there.
Oh, I'll buy you a donut if you do that.
Oh, man.
All right. So, on that note, y'all stay safe this week. Stay tuned next week for Roundtable. And as always, remember, keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.